As I've stated many times in the past, Hollywood is nothing more than social programming that's owned and controlled by the so-called elite. Understand the root word Hollywood and where that derives from. The ancient Druids in Europe used to make magic wands, witches' wands, out of the holly tree. This is how you get the name Hollywood. It's nothing more than witchcraft taking place, basically mind control. Let's go back in time when it comes to propaganda minister in Nazi Germany, Joseph Goebbels, and what he states about films. He states cinema is one of the most modern means of mass persuasion. Film is one of the most modern and far-reaching means for influencing the public that has ever existed. People need to understand, when you sit down and watch a movie, you let your guard down and you don't realize what's taking place. It's pure propaganda. When you watch movies and you see certain things take place, people react, they laugh, they cry over things that are not real. This is how powerful movies are. Sometimes people go to movies and wonder why they're not that good. Because their first priority is to program you, to entertain you. It's completely secondary. Just reading this quote from George Lucas, where he states, popcorn pictures have always ruled. Why do people go see these popcorn pictures? Why is the public so stupid? He stated this before the filming of The Phantom Menace. He's telling you what he thinks about you. All the millions and millions of people that have seen his movies, basically insulting you. Understand one thing. All the movie directors, producers, and writers in Hollywood, nothing more than Freemasons. They're on the same agenda, the same page. Those that own and control this world, the so-called elite, they must have a stranglehold on every aspect of our lives in this matrix to control the population, to control the masses. I'm going to break this down. So, for those that want to break into Hollywood, be, again, a movie producer, a director, or writer, you're not going to be one unless you're a Freemason that's on the same page with the elite, that know about movies. They're not about entertaining you. It's all about social programming. Taking a look at these two logos, one from Disney, of course, and Lucasfilm. It's always the occult hidden in plain sight with these Freemasons. First, let's take a look at Walt Disney's logo. You see the 36 is very well known. 666 hidden in plain sight with the Walt Disney logo. Of course, 33rd degree Freemason with the 33 Club, his restaurant. Also, the occult of Lucasfilm with George Lucas. What do you see here underneath Lucasfilm? This is nothing more than the dome over the flat earth. This is the firmament with the sun and the moon. Everything's always in plain sight. It always has been. Going back in time with Hollywood, not only movies, TV as well. It's all about, again, social programming with the idea of space. Understand, for the new viewers of my channel, space, deep space, does not exist. I know it will be a shock for many people who think it's absolutely insane. Of course it is, if you've been programmed into the big lie we've all been born into. We've all been born into deception. That's what it's all about. And as a form of mockery, I'm going to play a clip from the Red Hot Chili Peppers song, Californication. It talks about how Hollywood basically made up space. It's made in a Hollywood basement. It's telling you the truth in plain sight. And this is a form of mockery as well.
Space, a final frontier.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement.
Fascinating, fascinating, fascinating.
Taking a look at this episode from Star Trek, and you see the one eye symbolism, also referred to the so-called Illuminati eye. It's also referred to the eye of the Antichrist, the single eye, and I'll point that out more later on in the video. Understand, Gene Roddenberry was the creator of Star Trek, of course a Freemason just like them all in movies and in TV as well. The music industry, all of what we see on TV is controlled from the very top of the pyramid. Just really quickly to touch upon the character Spock with the pointed devil ears. He was, of course, half human and half Vulcan. And of course, he stated many times how basically he despises his human side. And this is a representation of the so-called elite and their bloodline that are half human, half fallen angel, that do not like their human side. Always hidden messages in plain sight. Now getting back on topic, how deep space is nothing more than a hoax. Taking a look at Space.com's website where they ask the question, why do planets look like stars in the night sky? They give this explanation. Planets don't produce their own light. They reflect the light of the sun in the same way our moon reflects sunlight. This is false. These so-called planets are nothing more than stars. They're just different sizes in the sky. We live under a firmament, as the Bible states in Genesis, in the creation of this earth. All we have are the sun, the moon, and the stars. So-called planets, or the wandering stars, as referred to in the ancient Greek, are nothing more than wandering stars. That's all we have. There's nothing else beyond the firmament. For all those that believe this is complete nonsense, complete crazy talk, let me ask you this simple question. Why do you believe we live on a spinning ball that's floating in space? Because your teachers told you, from elementary school to middle school to high school to college? Have any of these teachers or professors actually seen the blue marble in space? They haven't. They're just taking NASA's word for it. Understand, 500 years ago, everybody believed the earth was flat. So Copernicus had this theory that we lived on a spinning ball. He just so happened to be a Freemason. And here's an image of Copernicus. And what do you see? The Freemasonic compass. Take a look at some more images of more Freemasons that pushed off to the public, to the masses, the lies of the ball earth. Pythagorean, Galileo, these were all Freemasons that have pushed this lie. And this is the anti-God agenda, of course, with the Bible stating that we live under a firmament. Let's take a look now at this image. Obama and Bush, understand they're all on the same team, the same side. They're all Freemasons, playing us for fools. And of course Darwin, also the pushing the theory of evolution. These are all players in the game, the world's a stage. Of getting back to the ball earth that so many believe we live on. Now let's take a look at NASA's official website. A designer of the blue marble that they pass off to the masses as real. The people that don't understand, they don't read the fine print. What you see here is nothing more than a composite image. It's not a real image of the supposed ball earth we live on. He even states it here that he makes up imagery from data. Why can't they take an actual photo of the so-called blue marble we live on? Basically states here the last full image of the blue marble is 1972 from Apollo 17. So you're telling me in 50 years we have no other images of the so-called blue marble since this year? Completely ridiculous. NASA spends in excess of $900 billion a year, and this is what they give us. What a complete joke. You should be, insulted. You should, if you have a half a brain in your head, you should say, what the hell is going on? Somehow, water can stick to the side and the bottom of a globe, of a ball earth, and not fall off. Completely ridiculous. And here's an image, the first one in supposedly 50 years. And what do you see? It says sex on it. I know people out there say, oh, I seen clouds, with animal shapes. I seen what looked like faces in the clouds. But understand, you're not going to see letters or numbers. Especially, what are the chances, if you're going to see them at all? They're all going to line up to point out to the word sex. This is completely ridiculous. I can understand, if by some miracle there was an S and an E and an X on the supposed ball earth, an S here, an X here, an E here, but all lined up, give me a break. Show some more images how those that own and control this world are nothing more than sick and twisted psychopaths. Taking a look at Disney and this Little Mermaid. This was a VHS artwork cover. And what do you see? The phallic symbol, understand, this was not by mistake. This was, of course, okayed by those powers that be. They're nothing more than, like I said, twisted and sick psychopaths that run this world. Understand, the man or the woman that supposedly made this phallus on this artwork, do you think they would risk their job by doing this and get fired? I don't think so. To make the connection, understand, again, this was sold on the retail level. Let's make the connection with Star Wars. What do you see here from this 1977 Topps company? You see C-3PO, another phallus symbol. Again, if you think these are just coincidences and these people behind the scenes did not get the okay to do this, you're completely deceived. This is the sick and twisted so-called Illuminati, and that's the reason they call them the Illuminati. They're illuminated and they're naughty. You combine the two words, you get the Illuminati. Talking about sick and twisted, here's another example. I showed this before in a previous video with the Beatles cover. And of course, it was a limited release. And shortly after, it was yanked from the shelves. Of course, there's a chain of command. People that took these pictures, the photographers, they bought these butcher outfits. They got all the props together for this photo. Don't tell me this was by mistake. And don't tell me it was a mistake that was released. This was all planned by those behind the scenes. The people taking the photos, the people that are releasing this, the distributors, they would not risk their job. This was, of course, received the A-OK by their higher-ups. Here's another image of sick and twisted with bestiality. Basically, with Tori Amos breastfeeding this little pig. This is how sick they are. And getting back to Star Wars, there was a scene where Chewbacca meets the young female. Her name was Rey. And there was a mention of how Chewbacca likes her. Very subtle, but a reference to bestiality as well. These people are sick and twisted. People need to understand that. We are ruled by evil, sick, and twisted psychopaths. Now, getting back on the topic with the occult of Star Wars, first off, let's take a look at the back of course, the US $1, and you see so-called Illuminati pyramid with the all-seeing eye. Now, taking a look at LucasArts logo, and again, everything's always hidden in plain sight. They'll see things and they don't ask questions. What you see here is nothing more than an eye, referring to the all-seeing eye, just like on the dollar. These are Freemasons, again, all connected. And of course, the compass and the square, this is the square at a different angle, but the same exact thing of Freemasonry. Again, hidden in plain sight. And of course, the initial Ralph McQuarrie pyramid, called the Star Wars back then. There's the eye basically at a lower point, but basically this is the all-seeing eye with the pyramid. Now taking a look at the first movie poster from Star Wars, going back in time to 1977, you see the illuminated eye, and you see the uncapped pyramid in plain sight. This is how they do it, always in plain sight. They don't do things by random. This world wasn't created out of randomness, like so many people believe in evolution. They believe everything else after that is random as well. Nothing is random. There's no coincidences. Everything is by design from the very start. Also taking a look at this image, even the scroll for the movie is shaped as an Illuminati pyramid, an uncapped pyramid. And looking at Empire Strikes Back, Darth Vader, as we know, anybody that's watched the original 3 Star Wars movies, they know Darth Vader or no other character had 2 lightsabers. I remember seeing this as a child and wondered, why does he have 2 lightsabers? They're not in the movie. Of course, this is the pyramid, the basic all-seeing eye right on the very top. Taking a look at more recent images of the movie poster for Star Wars, The Force Awakens. What do you see here? More symbols. You see the pyramid in the center as well. And you see the red and blue, and that's also symbol. Again, can't stress this enough. There's a reason for everything. Taking a look at the Queen, you see the red and the blue and the Masonic symbols on the belt buckle here. This is the red and blue, which equals purple, which is royalty, the so-called elite, which are nothing more than Satanists She's from the satanic bloodline, just like the rest that own and control this world. Now, taking a look at this record album, actually a dual record album, one red and one blue. This is Satanism at plain sight. You can see how they all relate. You just have to connect the dots. That simple. Also, on a side note, you'll notice the 333 on this vinyl album. 333 is a basic code for 666 hidden in plain sight. This is how they do it. Always, people that understand the occult, they don't understand the signs and symbols, all this will go right over their head. Now, taking a look at this image here with George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, of course, their younger years. These two are, of course, on the same page, being Freemasons. I'm going to show that connection. Of course, here's a more recent photo. I'm going to show the occult, how these two are buddy-buddy in more than one ways. Take a look at Back to the Future, and of course, the DeLorean must go 88 miles an hour before it can go back in time. Now I'm going to explain the occult of the number 88. Of course, H is the 8th letter of the alphabet. This is basically HH for Heil Hitler. Understand, Hitler and the Jews are all on the same side. He was just playing a role. Hitler was a Jew himself. The world has been a stage. Nothing is as it seems. And even after the Twin Towers came down, they had the lights in the sky. It just so happens to have 88 spotlights that show up in the sky every 9/11 anniversary. This is mockery for those behind the scenes, all about the occult. Now, taking a look again at Star Wars, in the occult, hidden in plain sight, with this one character named IG-88, of course, a bounty hunter from The Empire Strikes Back. So you see the connection, again, with George Lucas and Steven Spielberg being on the same page with the 88. To take it a step further, to Return of the Jedi, they had this droid, a torture droid from Return of the Jedi from Jabba's palace scene, and his name was AD-8. So again, people cannot make the connection here. I think this is just all random. Have been completely blinded. George Lucas stated, like I said, why do people watch popcorn pictures? Why is the public so stupid? This is what he's referring to. Now, again, going and making a connection with the 88. This one might not be as obvious, but this new character called BB-8, understand the BB looks like 2 8s. This is what it's about. And when you connect the third 8, you get 888. And this is, of course, for those that understand the occult, those are in witchcraft and Satanism. They love triple-digit numbers, such as 666, 777, 555, such as in movies. And with more occult with Star Wars, I'm going to have to first lay the foundation with showing this image of all these puppets in the movie and music industry doing the 666 hand sign over the eye. And this is the eye of the Antichrist. I'll get into that a little bit more like I stated. First, let's take a look at this scene from the very first Star Wars, A New Hope, with this scene with Ben Kenobi and Luke Skywalker being stopped by stormtroopers on Mos Eisley. What do you see Ben Kenobi do here? When he says, you don't need to see our identifications, he does the 666 hand sign, just like all the puppets. There's nothing new under the sun. If people think this is just a coincidence, let's take a look at the Pirates of the Caribbean. And there you go with the 666 hand sign. Sometimes it's not so obvious. Let's take a look at The Mask with Jim Carrey. And you see him doing the 666 hand sign as well. It's not a coincidence, like I stated. You're doing the dual 666 hand sign. Hollywood is all about the occult. There's Michael Jackson doing the same exact thing. All in plain sight. You will not make it in Hollywood, the music industry, unless you sell out to these Satanists. Let's take a look at Beyonce here, just for reference. Again, the 666 hand sign. The all-seeing eye of Lucifer. As I mentioned in previous videos, you see that also 3 fingers. These are 2 sets of 3s. This is 33. For the highest degree in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry of 33. Now, more connections to Satanism when it comes to Star Wars. The Force Awakens. Let's take a look at this lightsaber by Han Solo's son. His name was Kylo Ren in the movie. And this is nothing more than an upside down cross. And this is a mockery of Christ. That's what it's about in Satanism. As you can see in this image here, with the satanic altar, you see the upside down cross. You see 3 of them here. People can easily see there's a connection here. Now recently the Vatican came out just today and basically talked about how there was not enough evil in the new Star Wars movie. Let's take a look at that article. And you see it right here. Vatican paper says The Force Awakens is not enough evil. Of course, some might say this is taken out of context where the Vatican basically is putting down the movie. The bottom line is, understand the world is a stage. And you can see it here with the Vatican, with the Pope. What do you see here? The exact same upside down cross as in Satanism, as in the lightsaber. This is obvious for those that have eyes to see. Take a look at this image at a Catholic church. Again, you see the upside down cross. You see the 2 keys. It's called the gold key and the silver key, all about the occult, going back to Egypt. Now let's take a listen to this interview with Leonard Maltin and George Lucas from years ago, where George Lucas talks about basically how Star Wars came to be about. Basically, he lies through the entire interview, stating how no one wanted Star Wars. And he said, luckily, basically, Fox took the film and they put it out, and this is a complete lie. This is how the Masons work. They, basically lie about everything, keeping us dumbed down and deceived, making us believe that everybody has a fighting chance to make it in Hollywood when it's all owned and controlled by Masons. Take a listen. Again, basically lies and states nobody wanted the Star Wars movies.
Let's go all the way back to the beginning.
Developed the story and took it to United Artists that had the first rights to it. They said no, they didn't want it. And then I took it to Universal because I just finished American Graffiti, and they said no, they didn't want it. And finally took it to 20th Century Fox, and Alan Knight Jr. said, I'm interested. He said, I don't understand this, but I loved American Graffiti, and whatever you do is okay with me. Because otherwise I don't think it would have ever gotten done.
Like I stated many times, these Freemasons are in the know of the so-called elite's agenda. They're all one and the same, on the same page. And I'm going to show an example of that with predictive programming. This is all about conditioning the masses for what's to come. Subtle, it enters your subconscious. The so-called elite knows how the human mind works. There's an example here from the very first Star Wars from 1977, when Ben Kenobi and Luke Skywalker come across the scene of a destroyed sandcrawler in the desert where the Jawas were slaughtered, and Luke first believed it was done by sand people, but he saw gaffi sticks, bantha tracks. But wise Ben Kenobi saw through the deception, and he knew it wasn't sand people. And he stated this was done by Imperial troops. Look at the blast points. They were too accurate for sand people. And sand people, as pictured here, is a reference to Muslims, to Arabs. As you can see, the similarities. This is details that go right over the masses' head that don't understand the occult, don't understand what's taking place with the deception in this world. I'm going to play this clip just for reference so people can understand what's taking place again.
It looks like the sand people did this all right. Look, there's gaffi sticks, bantha tracks. It's just, I've never heard of them hitting anything this big before.
They didn't, but we are meant to think they did. These tracks are side by side. Sand people always ride single file to hide their numbers.
These are the same Jawas that sold us R2 and 3PO.
And these blast points, too accurate for sand people. Only Imperial stormtroopers are so precise.
But why would Imperial troops want to slaughter Jawas?
Now getting back to the one-eye symbolism with LucasArts, as you can see here, just like the newer movie posters for Star Wars The Force Awakens, all one-eyed symbolism. What this is all about is bringing on the Antichrist Explain that here. First, I'll show some images of other puppets doing the all-seeing eye, the single eye of Lucifer, also the Antichrist. All these puppets in the game, as you can see, these are not artists. They are all sellouts, willing sellouts to Satan himself. This one eye symbolism revolves around the Bible from Zechariah 11:17, where it states, "Woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm." And that's referring to the lightsaber. That's why they use a sword in Star Wars. The sword shall be upon his arm and upon his right eye. So when you see all these images with the right eye covered, this is a reference to the Antichrist. This is what it's all about. Signs and symbols rule this world. People read text to newspapers. They listen to news stories on CNN or Fox News. You need to understand it's all about symbols. This is why you see all these hand signs. These are like, I hate to make this reference, almost like gang members. They refer to hand signs. To finish up on this Bible verse from Zechariah, his arm shall be clean, dried up. His right eye shall be utterly darkened. And again, there you go. And to conclude this video, I'm going to play previous videos I made on subjects I already covered in this video, just so people can look a little deeper into the flat earth, into 9/11, and also predictive programming when it comes to movies. Over the last year or so, there's been a lot of discoveries in movies when it comes to the flat earth, hidden in plain sight. This is how the so-called elite love to do it. With this movie called The Ming Hags, starring Bam Margera, take a look and you're going to see in this classroom as a teacher speaking to a student, he's talking about education. What do you see right behind him? Take a look at exactly 11:33.
150 years of tradition and scholarship. You were the worst example of an educated person to ever walk this campus. In over 12 years of college education, you've managed to achieve only 2 credits towards graduation in...
There you go. There's your flat earth model, flat earth map. And what does it say right above it? It says Science 101. For those that claim to be awake and believe in the ball earth, you're still dead asleep. Just take a look again closer at the flat earth map. You can clearly see the continents. This is no dartboard. You try to rationalize your false beliefs, believing you're awake, saying 9/11 was an inside job, Sandy Hook was a hoax. If you can't take that step further and see what's taking place, you're only half awake at best. Again, it says Science 101. Complete mockery. Let's take a look at Bam here. What do you see? Just like all the puppets in the game displaying the Masonic signs, you see the skull and the bones crossing his chest, and he even has a skeleton glove. Just to take it a step further, also, of course, the devil horns. All about duality, dual symbolism, just to show the skull and bones. For those who might not understand this, the secret society of Yale, where George Bush and John Kerry attended. Now, for those that haven't seen my previous video showing the flat earth model, hidden in plain sight as always in movies and TV. As I've mentioned many times, the so-called elite, they of course know that the earth is flat, and they love to mock us. Millions of people watch movies, they put the flat earth hidden in plain sight, and I'm going to play my previous video showing the flat earth in Back to the Future, DuckTales, Journey to the Center of the Earth, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. It's all over the place, right in front of your face, hidden in plain sight. Let's first take a look at Google Chrome, and this is from Earth Day 2013. Let's play this model. One thing to mention, As you see these swirls, these are the 666 swirls that I mentioned in previous videos. Just like the yellow brick road, just like Sega Dreamcast. But this is definitely the flat earth model, the dome above us, 100%. And here is the flat earth model. Basically, Antarctica are the edges of the world. What do you see here with Google Chrome's logo? Besides the well-known 666 on the outside of the circle, what do you see? The flat earth map right in the middle. Here's the ice rings and the oceans. And of course the UN logo. Same exact model of the flat earth to a T. Now I'm going to play a previous video showing the flat earth hidden in plain sight in Hollywood movies.
As the world turns.
This is a follow-up video to my last one showing the flat earth map in Back to the Future, the very opening scene. I'm going to also include a clip from the DuckTales opening showing how this is no coincidence. Those behind the scenes, how they love to mock even the children. First off, let's take a look at the very opening of Back to the Future. You can see the spinning planet right before the movie starts. Universal. You'll understand how this is part of conditioning. And then when they show the flat earth map, in this scene with Back to the Future, with the flat earth map, which I'll show more of from my previous video. The same thing with DuckTales. You clearly see behind the DuckTales logo, Disney, of course, Disney production, clearly see the flat earth map hidden in plain sight. Of course, like I said, it's obscured by the logo of DuckTales. When the older duck here appears in front, it's obscured, but it's there. This is how they do it. They put the ball earth in your face and they hide the truth all in plain sight. And now I'm going to play my previous video with Back to the Future showing the flat earth map. Then after that, I'm going to show a video with the connection with Disney and NASA, how they're all working together. When I first came across the flat earth topic, I've heard about it before. I just kind of brushed off to the side. Specifically with this Illuminati card game from 1995. I saw all the cards. I saw this one. I didn't give it much thought until I read this. People laugh, but the flat earthers know something. When I read that, that really got me thinking. That's what really got me into researching the topic. And of course, the square they show here when I first saw this, of course, looks completely ridiculous. Until you really look into it, this is completely biblical. The circle within the square, right in front of you. Just they make it, like I said, they make it look ridiculous in the card game. People look at pictures, they don't read the text. Of course, we all know, we all should know, the moon landing was nothing but a hoax, and they show it here. It all makes sense when you think about it. And of course, the Illuminati card game give us many hints when it comes to this card game. Specifically this one here with the joggers card, where it states no one ever suspects a harmless jogger. And then you see this scene here, of course, from the Boston smoke bomb from a few years back. Remember one thing, this woman is wearing green. What do you see here? A woman after the explosion wearing green throwing something, which possibly could have been the detonator that set this off. Maybe someone else set it off at a different location, and this was just all theater, but she was definitely part of the world stage for this scene. Unbelievable how these sick, twisted psychopaths, they're at the wheel, controlling society, and have so many people blinded. Getting back to the flat earth, I recently saw this scene on another channel on YouTube. I'm going to include the link in the description box below this video. It's from Back to the Future. And there's a scene here showing the flat earth at the very beginning of Back to the Future where they show all the clocks. But taking a look at this scene, there's so much going on. And that's the whole purpose. Confusion. While you're paying attention, the dog food can with this contraction here, what do you see behind it? The flat earth. That's the flat earth model. Like always, hidden in plain sight. This tells you Steven Spielberg, Robert Zemeckis, they all know the earth is flat. Putting it right in your face. All of Hollywood, all these high-ranking Masons behind the scenes, they know it. And that's the exact reason they're called the Illuminati, the enlightened ones. They're the ones with the knowledge. And all of us are not supposed to have this knowledge. And if you do, you're mocked, you're ridiculed, made fun of, called crazy. But the unknowing sheep, they don't know we're actually telling them the truth. They're being mocked in all these movies. Like I've said many times, truth in movies and lies in the news. And taking a look at this scene from Journey up to the Center of the Earth. And of course, I find that title interesting. Journey to the Center of the Earth. And what do you see on the wall? This is the Flat Earth map. Taking a closer look. Have this the UN logo turned sideways. Of course, the UN logo is a flat earth model as well. I'll get more on that in a little bit. I turn the model sideways. As you can see on the flat earth model, this map, east coast of the US basically faces the west coast of Africa. That's exactly what you see here. And of course, again with the UN map, East US, eastern coast, and Africa. And I also find it interesting how the flat earth is mentioned in Men in Black, a movie based on basically alien invaders. Remember, with the whole flat earth concept, there's a dome over us. There's nothing beyond the firmament besides water and heavens above. People talk about UFOs, talk about reptilians from other worlds. Everything is within the firmament. These so-called aliens, nothing but demons. We're given false explanations for everything. So-called meteors are nothing more than falling stars. Everything is within basically the bubble we live in this earth. Take a listen at this propaganda film, like I said, about aliens and alien invasion, and they mock us, talking about the flat earth. One little segment, but this is used as a form of mockery.
The person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it. 1,500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat.
And I find this scene interesting from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome with Tina Turner. And of course, the Thunderdome. Think about that for a second. When you hear thunder and it echoes, why does it echo? Because of course we live under a dome. The whole Thunderdome concept is based on the flat earth with the firmament above. Take a listen.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome!
Now this scene here with Dr. Dealgood, pay close attention to what he's wearing, entire outfit.
Listen on. Listen on. This is the truth of it. Fighting leads to killing, and killing gets to warring, and that was damn near the death of us all. Look at us now, busted up and everyone talking about hard rain. But we've learned, by the dust of them all, Barter Town's learned. Now when men get to fighting, it happens here.
What do you see here? Again, a close-up of the Freemasonic, the square and the compass. Only goes to show those behind the scenes of these movies are Freemasons that are in the know, and again with the Thunderdome representing the firmament above us. Now as far as the music industry is concerned, same deal. Freemasons behind it as well. Thomas Dolby's well known for the song, "She Blinded Me with Science." They have blinded society with science. And he has a song called "The Earth is Flat," another form of mockery. And with this image with the Pope at the UN, well, everybody's looking at him, they're not looking above him. Again, the flat earth model for all to see. As I always state, they love to mock. With these two clips I'm about to play with Obama mentioning the Flat Earth Society, remember, he has script writers, people behind the scenes that are pulling the strings. Everything he's saying, there's no wasted motion. With him mentioning the flat earth, it's flat out mockery. Again, these are the so-called enlightened ones, and they love to mock. What's the point of having power, having all the riches, and not being able to flaunt it? And this is their way of flaunting their knowledge, all in plain sight.
They must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not.
And these idiots in the back, they laugh, they smile. They don't know they're deceived. Deceived from birth to death. That's what they are.
Have believed that the world was round. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
And this is exactly how I sum it up best. Earth looks flat, tests flat, and measures flat. But they want it to be a ball. Exactly how it goes. People do not like to be told they've been lied to their entire lives. You know, they have a lot of pride in their knowledge, a lot of egos involved. They don't want to admit they've been wrong their entire lives, deceived. The truth pill is a very hard pill to swallow.
They're laughing at us. I can see them laughing at us. I don't believe them.
I've made a lot of videos covering the flat earth. I've had some people come to my channel disputing the claims of a flat earth. Well, this is a challenge to all you out there that believe in the blue marble in space spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. I want evidence. I want you to make videos proving your case. Because your evidence of a blue marble spinning at 1,000 miles in space comes from these clowns, these Masons in the game, with Walt Disney and Werner von Braun, a former Nazi and then NASA head. And here's your evidence for your belief in the blue marble and planets outside of Earth's atmosphere, supposedly. To give you the first image of the supposed planet we live on. And what do? They put sex written in the clouds. And people might say, well, you know, I've seen animal shapes and people's faces in the clouds, but you're not going to see letters, especially lined up in the clouds. I mean, if you have an S here, an E here, an X there, that'd be one thing. But what are the chances of sex being spelt out all together in a group. I mean, XES, ESX, but SEX all lined up? Give me a break. And with a supposed image of Pluto provided from NASA, and of course, I'm providing a link, the URL here, from space.com. This is an official supposed photo of Pluto. And what do you have? The planet Pluto and Pluto the dog from Disney. His face carved out in this image. All part of mockery by those that run this world, that to those that believe the lies. And for all the coincidence theorists out there that look at this and see how it just so happens to fit Pluto's face from Disney. You don't see the connection with Disney and NASA? How they're all working together? The sex symbolism here with Disney as well. Again, with Werner von Braun and Disney. Two Masons in the game. These two have passed away, but they're carrying on the tradition with the mocking of the masses. And interesting enough, China supposedly landed on the moon back in 2013. It was barely covered by the mainstream media because it was so fake, it was so ridiculous. That's why if you talk to an average citizen that believes in the moon landing back in 1969, and you talk to them about this Chinese moon landing, they never heard about it. There's a good reason. Take a look at this footage. All you get is CGI effects. Nothing real about this, but people just lap it up. Now, what's filming this lunar lander from this aspect? What's filming it? Obviously all CGI, all fake garbage passed off to the masses, and they just lap it up. They're all clapping, watching a CGI video, a horrible one at that, and the masses again lap it up. This is your evidence that they landed on the moon. This is your evidence that they can get past God's firmament. Now listen here. After supposedly successfully laying that probe on the moon, what do you hear? You're going to hear a lot of laughing. In a real life situation, you're going to hear people happy, but not laughing like it's a big joke. This is mockery. These people from China's space know this is all fake. And this is just like duping the light. They're laughing over this because they know it's nothing but a big joke. With this meteorologist claiming the Chicago skyline being viewed all the way in Michigan, across Lake Michigan, is nothing more than a mirage. And we understand one simple thing. The whole foundation of the ball of earth is a lie. So everything after is a lie as well. And they have to continue the lie with sell-offs such as this person here, playing a newsman, but nothing more than a paid propagandist. Now again, I already covered this in detail. I'm going to go and cover it in a little bit more detail with different views, different aspects. But first, I want to say I didn't play the whole video in my previous video. And in this one, we'll play the whole clip, and I'll go into a little bit more detail. Take a listen.
Until I found this photo, Grandmere State Park. This is from Joshua Nowicki, and what you're seeing here is a mirage. You typically would not be able to see this from the Lake Michigan shore. We talked about this last night. Conditions are right on the lake that we're actually seeing a mirage of the Chicago skyline. Very interesting. Here's what's happening. This is a good example of a superior mirage. So Joshua was on the Lake Michigan shore. He was looking towards the west, and Chicago's beyond the horizon. Should not be able to see it. However, with the right conditions, we have an inversion. We have cold air near the cold lake water and some relatively warmer air above it. This will bend the image of that skyline back towards the viewer. And so typically we would not be able to see this. This image would be viewable from much, much higher in the sky, up in space. But instead, we're able to see it on the Lake Michigan shore. Very fascinating, and that's the same reason we're actually seeing this ring on the radar tonight as well. Because of the inversion we call atmospheric ducting, it's bending the radar rays back towards the ground. So even on the clear nights, we have some interesting weather.
Now, before I proceed with the video, this is a very important point I want to replay that the meteorologist says.
The horizon should not be able to see it. However, with the right conditions, we have an inversion. We have cold air.
Okay, he just stated, because of the horizon, the curvature basically, you shouldn't be able to see the Chicago skyline. Now, taking a look at this photo provided by Joshua Nowicki, you can clearly see that this is no mirage. And I'll get into that in a little bit. I'll explain a superior mirage and how it looks like. And this is no superior mirage. Now understand, the distance from Chicago to Grandmere State Park in Stevensville, Michigan, it's 90 miles away. And they say over water it's 60 miles. Now understand one thing. With the supposed curvature of the earth, and at 60 miles, that will lead you to 2,400 feet behind the supposed horizon or the curvature. So the Sears Tower, also known as Willis Tower, being at 1,700 feet to the tip, the whole tower basically should be behind the horizon or the supposed curvature of the earth. And also he talks about the superior mirage. With superior mirages, the mirage is inverted. And I'm going to show some examples of that. With these photos, you can clearly see the inverted mirage. Again, more of the same. So again, when you look at this skyline, it's a complete insult for that meteorologist to call this a mirage. Nothing about this is a mirage, completely real. And also, to go along with the photo from Stevensville, Michigan, I found an additional photo from even further, a little bit further, at St. Joseph's. Found on this blog here. You can clearly see, again, the Chicago skyline all the way across Lake Michigan. And there was a dispute as far as the distance was concerned from Chicago to Michigan City, Indiana. And I want to clarify this. I might as well mention how it's been stated how the distance is driving miles. Now, from point A to point B across the lake, they say it's approximately 40 miles. So even if that's the case, with 40 miles, it's still over 1,000 feet. A little over 1,000 feet behind the supposed curvature. So in that case, You should only see the very tips of these few buildings over here. The lower ones shouldn't be in view at all. So clearly, again, doesn't add up with what the meteorologist is saying. And clearly, again, this is no mirage. And take a look at some more photos here from Michigan City, Indiana, and the views of the Chicago skyline. A couple more images. And again, I point this out with the people standing on the beach. You can clearly see these are not inverted buildings. Clearly, they're there. And again, the Chicago skyline. Just for reference. And again, another photo from Michigan City, Indiana. Clearly no mirage. Again, more the same. So to me, with this video, this is probably the best proof, or one of the best proof, supporting the flat earth theory. With all the videos I'm making covering the flat earth lately, I'm getting a lot of questions about satellites. You know, this is their evidence that the earth is a ball. Now let's take a look at these images of these satellites. Do these look real to you? I want you people that talk about satellites all the time to show me a real image of a satellite. All you get are these CGI images, not a single real image of a satellite anywhere. Why is that? All we get is this fake garbage. You get a CGI satellite, you get a CGI planet, all bogus, 100%. So, for all you people coming to my channel, talking about satellites, make a video, produce real satellites. You can't do it because they don't exist, period. Supposedly, close to 3,000 satellites up in space. Again, all we get is this fake garbage. Now let's look at what ISS has to produce as far as real satellites. Get that fake garbage. You get this. All CGI, computer animated. Looks like a video game. Where are the satellites? You don't see any because they don't exist. Look at this. Wow. You believe this is real? If you believe this is real, you're going to believe every single lie NASA, the media, your government tells you. You've been completely blinded from birth. You believe everything you've been told your whole life. And any time someone questions an official story by your leaders, you get angry, you get upset, you get defensive. Because no one likes to be told they've been lied to their entire lives. Just keep watching this video, and again, show me where the satellites are. There are none. At least with this fake computer animated garbage, I'm surprised they didn't make any fake satellites. I guess they think, oh, here's one. This must be real. Because this video is provided by NASA. But all you get, again, is computer animated garbage. Your whole life is nothing but garbage. Full of lies. That's all you get. You get angry at so-called conspiracy theorists who tell you the truth. Haters of truth, lover of lies. Now let's take a look at some photos supposedly from NASA of the ball Earth, the blue marble, spinning at 1,000 miles an hour in space. You believe these are real. All fake garbage. Again. How people can't see this? No clue. It's a waste of time arguing with these idiots that can't see their own two eyes. Unbelievable how the masses completely blinded by their masters. In a form of mockery with Hollywood, they're going to tell you the truth right in front of your face as form of mockery. Under the Dome, that TV show, it's exactly what we're living under, the dome. That's why all the images of Earth from space, all the fake satellite images, they're all fake. Why? They cannot get past the dome to take real images of Earth. That simple. So again, with these TV shows, such as the Big Bang Theory as well, they like to put the occult all in plain sight with these TV shows. And again, like I stated before, when you see a rainbow after it's done raining and the sky clears, what you get here are these water beads that act like a mirror that get a reflection from the dome that is above us. More of the same. That's a reflection. Again, the water acting as a mirror, a reflection of the dome above us. And I found this pretty interesting with the Sky Dome, another form of mockery with the name Sky Dome. It was built by IBI in Canada. What do you see? The upside down pentagram, right side up pentagram. The occult in plain sight. And this is their official website. Look it up yourself. I'll show some more images here from their website, giving the details about the Sky Dome. Now the occult with the Sky Dome. And what do you see here? The obelisk. Right outside. Again, all about the occult. All these large companies, to get their contracts, to be successful, they know their role. They know what they need to do. Just looking at some images here. More images. This is the one that's right in your face. You know, on their home page for the Sky Dome, this is their image. Again, with the occult in plain sight. Completely ridiculous how people can't see that those that rule this world worship Satan. Now, talking about Sky Dome, let's take a look here with The Simpsons. And of course, as I mentioned before, Matt Groening of The Simpsons, being a Freemason, what does he have? They're going to put the Sky Dome in one of their episodes. And of course, more little occultic symbol here. They're all about the occult. Everyone that makes on top of this world, with no exception, they're part of the so-called Illuminati, the elite, all those that worship Satan. And some might ask, how does technology such as GPS and other technology that require satellites? It's very simple. All by ground towers, high-power ground towers, and under-ocean fiber optic cables. The most frequently asked question about the entire flat earth model that I get is about the sun and how it works on the flat earth. First off, like I always do, I have to lay the foundation before I even show any type of footage. This is the biblical flat earth with the sun and the moon and the stars within the firmament. To make it clear, there are no planets. Planets do not exist. All we have is what you see here, like I mentioned, on the flat, fixed Earth. Now taking a look at this photo across Lake Michigan with the Chicago skyline, like I mentioned before, this is approximately 60 miles over Lake Michigan with this photo, and these buildings should not be viewable due to the curvature of the Earth, the supposed curvature of the Earth. One thing to notice right off the bat, look how level the horizon is. On the supposed ball Earth, this wouldn't be happening. Now people see the sun, they say, oh, the sun must be going around the ball of the Earth, around the globe. And this isn't the case, and I'll explain that. What's taking place is just like this model here with these telephone poles called the vanishing point. As you can see, all these telephone poles are the same height, but due to perspective, the one closest appears taller than the rest. You go down the line, the one furthest away seems very small, but of course, again, they're all the same height. The same concept with the sun. It appears to disappear. Now let's take a look at more images here. The same basic concept with the vanishing point. Now, look at this fence. Look at this railroad track. The further you go, the more narrow it seems, and it disappears. Again, with the telephone poles, same thing. I showed this night and day flat Earth model before, and how the sun moves clockwise around the flat Earth. Of course, the Earth is stationary. The sun moves just like the Bible states. Understand with this model, it's not to scale, of course. The sun is much smaller, approximately only 30 miles across. And some might say, oh, this is just a model. Doesn't mean anything. Let's see it in action. And here you go. And this is a time-lapse video of the sun from the view over Lake Michigan, looking towards Chicago, taking a look, and again how the sun circles the Earth, going eastward, and you can clearly see how the light is localized right where the clouds are. If the sun was truly 93 million miles away, the entire sky would be illuminated. You're going to see how small the sun actually is, and again how the light is localized as it moves away, going east, just like the model I showed before. Let's take a look. You can clearly see that sun. You can see how that, like I said, that light, the light from the sun is localized right at this cloud. No way is this sun as large as we're told and as far as we're told. It's right in front of you. People need to unlearn what they have learned. This proves the sun is clearly under God's firmament. 100% clear as day. And there you go. There's the vanishing point as the sun circles the Earth, just like in the model I showed earlier. Now taking a look at the moon at night, clearly see the clouds, and people have disputed me about this. Those are clearly the clouds behind the moon. I view this myself at night. I observe the skies very often. I've seen this with my own eyes. This is no illusion. Don't tell me that this moon is 238,000 miles away and you can see the clouds like this. There's no way. Not possible. Again, for even those that believe in the flat earth, they're disputing this. You understand. We're told you have to erase everything we're told in the schools, the history books. It's all lies. Got to see things with new eyes to understand the entire concept. Everything we're told is the exact opposite of what it is. Now, taking a look at space.com's website, and you can just see by their logo with the Illuminati pyramid, you can tell who they are affiliated with. They work for those that are behind the scenes to deceive the masses. And reading the title for this article, why do planets look like stars in the night sky? Because that's exactly what they are. Again, planets do not exist. Everything is within the firmament. The size of the stars differ. So they're giving you false explanations of what you're actually seeing. Now let's look at their explanation of why these so-called planets shine like stars. States here, planets don't produce their own light. They reflect the light of the sun in the same way our moon reflects sunlight. This is complete garbage. If you believe these so-called planets that you see here are reflecting light to get this light, you're 100% deceived. These are nothing more than stars. And as the Bible states, the moon produces its own light as well. So you got more than one lie in this article. Basically, everything they're telling you is a lie. Now, taking a look at the very beginning of the Bible with Genesis 1:16, basically the creation of the world. And it states, and God made two great lights. The sun and the moon are two lights. The moon gives off its own light. That's what this refers to. Not a reflection from the sun on the moon to get light. The greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. Notice planets aren't mentioned, because planets do not exist. And clearly with these images, you can see how the moon creates its own light. Not a reflection from the sun. And more of the same, clearly its own light. Now take a look at the moon during the day. Why isn't the moon completely illuminated? It should be a full moon. There's nothing obstructing the sun and the moon. They're both in the sky at the same time. So what's the deal? Just further evidence that the moon produces its own light. The moon creates its own phases. It's that simple. Otherwise, this moon should be fully illuminated, with the sun and the moon again in the sky at the same time. Now here's something else to remember. With the moon and the sun in the same sky, what's the deal with the other side of the supposed globe? They're not getting a sun. They're not getting a moon. How does that work? It doesn't make sense. The sun and the moon are always above the flat earth. It's that simple. Now let's take a look at this footage supposedly provided by ISS. This is nothing more than CGI. Nothing more than a cartoon. Nothing about this is real. And this is what you base your belief that we live on a spinning ball. This is complete garbage. And what is this? This green barrier. Unbelievable how people can buy this. The masses, millions of people will watch this and they will say, isn't science amazing? Science is not amazing. It's just that you're stupid and you fall for this complete, utter garbage. Wake up. They can't get into space. Rockets don't work in space. ISS is a hoax. Stop believing in fairy tales. Your whole life's a lie. Everything you've been fed by the government, the schools, all lies. Time for you to wake up and stop living in this lie, this fantasy they have created for you, this matrix that you cannot break free from. Take a look. Wake up. People need to understand one simple thing. We all have been born into deception. 500 years ago, everybody believed the earth was flat. You told someone the earth was round, you would be ridiculed. Now, it's the exact opposite. This is how those that control the world control the minds. And to end this video, I'm going to show this clip again with the sun circling the earth. And you'll see it disappear beyond the vanishing point. This is a follow-up video to my last one showing the sun time-lapse over South Africa and Lake Michigan. Interesting enough, the music I featured in that video was a band from Melbourne, Australia, and they're called The Vanishing Point. The title of the song is Distance is the Sun. Now, going back in time, I also show this image here from this movie called The Vanishing Point from 1971, a U.S. Hollywood-based movie. Interesting enough, the name of the band and the name of the movie called Vanishing Point. The similarities. Take a look at these people around the ball earth. And this is meant as mockery with people, on the sides hanging upside down. Just imagine water on the sides of the ball earth and on the bottom. And how it's sticking to the spinning globe earth. It's spinning at 1,100 miles an hour at the equator and somehow manages to hold on. Completely ridiculous. And now, again, showing the similarities with this album cover, or the CD, with the skyscrapers going around the ball earth. This is meant as mockery. Millions and millions of people have seen these movies. They buy these CDs. They buy these DVDs. They bring them into their homes, and they don't realize those behind the scenes are mocking the masses. People that are buying these don't realize what is taking place. This is how the psychopaths that are behind the scenes, that control all of music, all of movies, love to mock the masses.
As the world turns.
Just more mockery, this time with the Illuminati card game that was released in 1995. They're going to tell you the truth. It's something as ridiculous as a card game, movies, comedy. This is how the psychopaths operate. Showing the fake moon landing in this card game and the flat earth. And looking at the text, it states, people laugh, but the flat earthers know something. And the mockery never ends. And this time with his geek Barack Obama. During 2 presentations, he mentions the Flat Earth Society. This is a form of mockery, telling the truth as a form of a joke. And these people, these idiots in the back, they laugh at his jokes. They don't understand. He's basically mocking them. This is how the psychopaths work. They work off mockery, deception, lying, and these fools have no clue. Take a listen and understand again everything that Barack Obama says during these presentations. All scripted, not ad-libbed. Again, it's all about mockery. Take a listen, and again, I'll play my previous video showing the sun time-lapse in South Africa and Chicago over Lake Michigan.
astronauts took to the moon.
Astronauts to the moon.
Like I always say, truth in movies, lies in the news. And also, on a side note, they mention astronauts brought Tang to the moon. And there's a reason for that. Everything they do, there's a reason. No wasted motion. Here's a picture of the orange Tang. The reason for Tang, of course, the only color in numerology, that's 33. The highest degree in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, as I've mentioned so many times. Let's take a look at the connection with orange and 33. It goes a long way. Taking a look at Citibank here. And what do you see this girl doing? Smiling with the orange in her mouth. That's the 33 right in plain sight. A little bit of a close-up. And of course, ING Direct with their orange account. The orange savings. The electric orange. The lightning bolt, of course, a reference to the Bible in Luke chapter 10, verse 18, where Jesus beheld Satan falling from heaven as lightning. Of course, the phony, fake ball earth as a orange. And a little bit more here from ING Direct. The orange key. Planet orange, basically a reference to planet number 33. And sometimes that 33 is not so obvious. With Bank of America here. Well, let's look at Discover first. You see all these cards in orange. To Bank of America. It's not so obvious, but the 11, 11, 11 is 33 in numerology. And they're not going to pass up on the orange, the occult of the orange. And take a look at the Bank of America building in Houston, Texas. It just so happens to be shaped or designed as 3 pyramids, and the color is orange. And taking a look at the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, of course, it's painted orange, and people ask all the time, why is it painted orange and not gold like its name? Just so happens it was built in 1933. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. Let's take a look at Albert Pike, of course, a famous Freemason, former Southern general, basically started the KKK. Here is a statue of him in Washington, D.C. As you can see here, the Masonic 33. Just a side note, I have a friend who works at a university. I talk to them about the occult, about people like Albert Pike. I mentioned Albert Pike to her. She said, who is that? This is the education system at work. They teach you only what you need to know to get a job, to survive in this world, but they're not going to tell you about those that lay the foundation behind the scenes, such as Albert Pike. Taking a look here. Some images, this medal, this pin, I should say, of Albert Pike. Again, the 33rd degree Freemason. Understand the KKK and how it was formed. Of course, C spells clan, but they changed it to a K just so they can get 11, 11, 11, 33. It's all about Freemasonry in this world. Going back all the way in time to Europe, to Scotland, with the Orange Order in the connection with the Ku Klux Klan. You can clearly see it here. Another image of Albert Pike. Again, signs and symbols rule this world. You see the KKK within a pyramid. In the inverted pyramid, as above, so below. So much symbolism in this one image here. Now let's take a look. The KKK again. When it comes to orange and the Grand Dragon, just so happens to be orange. Again, that is 33. Just another image. A real image of a Ku Klux Klan member's cloak. The 33 trap miners, supposed trap miners, nothing but a hoax, wearing orange. Of course, they control all of TV. You see Al Bundy here, married with children, wearing the number 33. Of course, the C, ABC 123, This is a 3 as well. This is 333, and that's a code for 666. For those that don't know, you can look that up. I'm getting more into the occult of orange, understanding Hitler and Nazi Germany. They had their own drink, and it was the Fanta Orange. Going back in time, you can see it. The drink originated in Nazi Germany. It's not a coincidence. For those that believe Hitler was some kind of hero, you are completely deluded, deceived. Unbelievable how people are completely programmed. Most people that don't believe in God, they look for a hero. So they figure, oh, Hitler was fighting the Jews, so he must be a good guy. Give me a break. Or likely an atheist who doesn't believe in God that needs a hero. There are no heroes. You need to understand that. Look at the cover of this book. It's orange. Orange. Can you see this? Orange. How obvious can it be? And taking a look at Angela Merkel of Germany, the Chancellor, and she's wearing orange. And of course the Masonic hand sign. Oh, and what is Hitler doing? The same exact thing. People need to wake up and realize. People like Eric Dubé talking about the flat earth. He's telling you the truth there. But then he leads you on to lies that Hitler was some type of hero. Far from. Another form of mockery here is Hillary Clinton wearing the orange suit and doing the Nazi salute. Understand, her husband, Bill Clinton, of course, was born Bill Blythe. The reason he changed his name to Clinton, his surname, because it's 33 in numerology. People need to wake up and realize, again, there are no heroes. Stop being deceived. Stop being deluded, looking for one. The only hero you're going to have is Jesus Christ. Okay, now let's take a look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, and what do you see? The same exact Nazi salute, and he's smiling. Of course, a form of mockery. He would have never made it big in this world unless he was one of them. It's that simple. You're not going to make it in this world unless you sell out. You, of course, huge in the Terminator movies, all over TV still to this day. Of course, the governor of California. Unbelievable how people, are fooled and conned by these actors. Throughout history, Ronald Reagan, Jesse Ventura, Clint Eastwood. Some of these people believe that these were actual heroes when they're nothing more than puppets. The world's a stage. People need to realize that. Now, getting back to Arnold, let's take a look here at this image with Bloomberg here, where you see the skull and bones belt buckle. And this, of course, this photo shot taken. This is all on purpose as a form of mockery, saying who he is affiliated with. Same thing here goes with Glenn Beck in public. How obvious can it be with the skull and bones? So again, you turn to CNN or Fox News, it does not matter. They're all in the same club, and they show it. Talking about being in the same club, take a listen what Alex Jones, a.k.a. Bill Hicks, says about the death of Bill Hicks.
Yo, yo, yo. Yeah, but that dude is like Kevin Boots, like badass, man.
So what do you think about people saying that Bill Hicks was killed?
Is people saying that? The government got Bill?
Bill Hicks probably was killed by Wonder Bread and
I thought it was orange drink that killed him.
Drink a lot of orange drink?
Even the fake name they give him is 33 in numerology. And how obvious can it be for those that don't understand, that are deceived in believing Alex Jones is a real person? Nothing more than a character played by Bill Hicks. If you don't get it, by now you never will. And all these things I mentioned about the 33 and the orange, if this was true, people might say, why don't we hear it on CNN? This is the reason why. As I mentioned many times, they're on the 33rd parallel. The world's a stage, and so few can figure this out. I think people can't figure out when they tell me not everything's a hoax. Give me a break. How can everything be fabricated? Are you crazy? Understand, it cannot report just random news stories to bring in their new world order. They must manufacture it through propaganda, through the news. They're not going to waste time covering real news stories when their whole objective is to bring in the new world order. And so few can see that when they tell me that not everything's a hoax, not all news is fake. No, there's real news stories that take place, of course, in your local news, but for the most part, when something gets covered 24/7 on CNN, Fox News, or MSNBC, it's part of their agenda. That simple. Bring on the new world order. As I've stated many times in my past videos, Hollywood and movies are a huge part of social programming. And that's why the elite control every aspect of our society to shape and form the minds of the masses. And I've stated many times with Spielberg, Robert Zemeckis, George Lucas, and Richard Donner, all their movies, you're going to see the occult hidden in plain sight. You're going to see predictive programming. And in this case, with Australian director George Miller, and George Miller just so happens to be 33 in numerology. Now, taking a look at this combined image of George Miller, Sylvester Stallone, Matt Groening of The Simpsons, and They Live's John Carpenter. Again, all Masons in the game. The 666 hand sign, all in plain sight. The all-seeing eye, all right in front of you. And now to break down George Miller's Mad Max series and all the Masonic symbols, all hidden in plain sight. And taking a look at the opening scene for the original Mad Max released in 1979. And you'll see the symbolism right from the start. Right here with the skull and bones, of course a reference to Freemasonry. As you can see, Yale University, founded in 1832. And of course, John Kerry and George Bush attended Yale University. And the famous interviews with Tim Russert.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us?
Not much, because it's a secret.
Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code?
I wish there were something secret I could manifest.
322, a secret number?
There are all kinds of secrets, Tim, but one...
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go wild.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322?
And you continue, and you see that 3 and the K. That 3 and the K is the 11th letter in the alphabet, so you get 311, 33 as well. So again, always hidden messages with these Freemasons in these movies. Now, taking a look at the trailer for Mad Max before it was released in the theaters back in 1979, and you'll see the reference to Skull and Bones again. And there you go, Skull and Bones. Right there in your face. This is how they do it. Very beginning of Mad Max the movie and the trailer itself. How obvious can it be? Look at Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, which was released in 1985.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome!
Listen on. Listen on. This is the truth of it. Fighting leads to killing. And killing gets to warring. And that was damn near the death of us all. Look at us now. Busted up and everyone talking about hard rain. But we've learned, by the dust of them all, Barker Towns learned. Now when men get to fighting, it happens here.
Symbols right here. The Freemason square and compass. And this man wearing the gown. Let's take a closer look. And again, a closer look right here. You can clearly see the Masonic square and compass symbol. And again, the black robe. These Masons love to poke fun at the masses, toying with them. They watch this. Someone could watch this movie 100 times and never see this. You know, another symbolism is the Thunderdome. And that's for another subject, for another time. Understanding. At times, the symbolism will not be so apparent. It will be subtle, but it's there. First pointing out with this Freemasonic ritual, the one pant leg up, the breast showing the blindfold, the 2 hexagrams in the back. These are used to summon demons. People might think this is crazy, but this is what they do. And the 2 pillars in the back. Now, taking a look at the latest movie that came out, Mad Max Fury Road, what do you see? The guitar player, the same symbolism with the 1 pant leg up. Again, very subtle, but those symbolisms are always there. Just like with the music industry with Pink, the checkerboard, the blindfold, the symbolism of the 1 pant leg rolled up. And here with Dave Chappelle, same exact thing. A supposed truth speaker, but he's playing those that believe him for fools. He wouldn't be where he's at unless he was a sellout, period. There's more Masonic imagery here with the checkerboard. Now, taking a look at some of the movie posters from Mad Max, and you'll understand the symbolism. You're going to see the pyramid, the uncapped pyramid, the latest one with Fury Road. The sun symbolism as well. Now, just taking a look at Star Wars with George Lucas, same exact thing with the uncapped pyramid. So you see the connection with all these Freemasons and the same symbols. And this movie poster goes back to 1979 with the very first Mad Max movie, again the uncapped pyramid. George Miller, again the director. And this foreign poster here, French poster, again with the uncapped pyramid. Now this is the second movie of the series called The Road Warrior. In Australia it was called Mad Max 2. You see the sun symbolism and of course the pyramid. The road and the truck. Pyramid symbolism. In this poster, you're going to see Mad Max and understand the reason they give it the title Mad Max is MM. Turn those 2 M sideways, you get the 33. As in Freemasonry with the 33rd degree in the Scottish Rite. Just like Mork and Mindy, Mickey Mouse, Marilyn Monroe, Marilyn Manson, Michael Myers. It goes on and on and on. And understanding the symbolism here with the lightning bolt, I've covered this many times as well. It's all from the Bible, from Luke chapter 10, verse 18, where Jesus beheld Satan falling from heaven as lightning. More symbolism here with the lightning bolts. With this poster, you get 3 lightning bolts. And why the 3 lightning bolts? It's just like when they do the sacrifices, or the supposed sacrifices, they do them in 3s. It's all about witchcraft and Satanism. Same thing here. Back to the Future. The very first time they showed Back to the Future on TV, the entire trilogy, was September 11th. Again, the 3 lightning bolts, the pyramids. All the symbolisms are right there in front of us. The wheel symbolism. You see George Miller here, again with the three, looks like 3 chili peppers. This is Satanism at work. It might seem subtle, but everything they do, there's a reason. And understanding the triple symbolism, this is from Treasure of Witchcraft, page 23. Powerful triple repetition is characteristic of magic ritual.
And the signal will be 1, 2, 3, zot, zot, zot. We need to shake the rafters on this one. So 1, 2, 3, zot, zot, zot. All right.
So again, with all these Masons, it's all about symbolism. And I do understand there'll be some people that watch this video and they'll call it all a coincidence or it doesn't mean anything. But these are the same people that have been completely blinded by those that run this world. And as I pointed out earlier, with both Mad Max and Star Wars having the uncapped pyramid as part of their movie posters, of course these 2 Masons are on the same page, just like them all. Again, movies are not about solely entertaining you. It's about conditioning and programming, shaping and forming the public's opinions and thoughts. And everybody fears a decayed society where there's lawlessness. And I find these 2 clips I'm about to play pretty interesting. With George Miller's Road Warrior and George Lucas's Phantom Menace, both pushing the elite's concept of fear equaling control. Millions and millions of people worldwide watch these movies and have no understanding, no concept of what's taking place. Specifically with George Miller's Mad Max series. Again, with the decayed society, which all the masses fear.
Like, we do it my way. Fear is our ally. The gasoline will be ours. Then you shall have your revenge.
Fear. Fear attracts the fearful, the strong, the weak, the innocent, the corrupt. Fear is my ally.
It's basically about the end times. All these shooting hoaxes about taking the guns away. That's the whole point of this. Like Eric Holder said in a previous interview, how we need to brainwash the masses. And I'll play that clip.
That I think is clear with young people and with adults as well is that we just have to be repetitive about this. It's not enough to simply have a catchy ad on a Monday and then only do it every Monday. We need to do this every day of the week and just really brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way.
Also with Obama here, in this latest news story, with this article talking about Christmas in Washington has been canceled after 33 years. This is complete mockery. Of course, Christ being crucified after 33 years. Now take a listen to Obama here as he mentions conspiracy theorists talking about his secret agenda and how they're right about winning the war on Christmas. How people can't see what's taking place and how these Satanists love to mock. This is what they're all about. It's also what is called the revelation of the method. Just like 9/11, they must tell you what they're going to do before they do it. Form of mockery and also a form of conditioning. Take a listen.
Let me just say something to all my conspiracy-oriented friends on the right who think I'm planning to unleash some secret agenda. You're absolutely right. So allow me to close with a quick preview of the secret agenda you can expect in a second Obama administration. In my first term, we ended the war in Iraq. In my second term, I will win the war on Christmas.
Showing how the news is nothing more than a movie. The same day of the San Bernardino shooting hoax, CNN's Lisa Ling, LL33, in numerology, They spotlight a Satanist and his beliefs and how, basically everybody should have a voice. This is nothing more than promoting Satanism. Again, this is all about connecting the dots. With the shooting hoaxes that are going to take the guns away, they are pushing Satanism, and they are also demonizing Christians in this world stage of all these fabricated stories.
As a skilled artist, Michael is now using his craft to stand with the temple and their fight for religious freedom. When the Michigan State Capitol put up a nativity scene during Christmas time, the Satanic Temple placed their own symbol of faith on the state capitol lawn, and Michael helped design it.
The snake itself is to be representative of Lucifer when he chose to lead man to knowledge in the Garden of Eden. We support the idea of Lucifer as a metaphorical figure in his influence on man.
We live in a nation that is predominantly Judeo-Christian, so what's wrong with having a nativity scene on the steps of the Capitol during Christmas time?
There's nothing wrong with it, per se, if other, religions could be accepted as well and have their own displays. There can't be one dominating voice to all the voices.
So Snaketivity sat alongside Nativity. How was it received?
A lot of people threatened to destroy it, but for the most part, I felt like it was met with acceptance and curiosity.
Do you celebrate Christmas?
I do, actually. I personally just view it as more of a time to be with my family.
So you don't think Christmas should go away, even though it is the day that commemorates the birth of Christ?
No, not at all. I feel like everyone should have the right to celebrate their religion, but every voice has to be heard.
And this is showing how everything's going to add up to 2017, like I said many times. With this 2007 Brian Williams broadcast on NBC News, talking about by the year 2017 in the microchip. I'm going to play this previous video so people can connect the dots and get the overall picture how all news stories from the supposed Planned Parenthood shooting by a Christian, with the supposed shooting in San Bernardino, California, and a Satanist, and Obama, basically stating from years back how he's going to win the war on Christmas, how everything is adding up, how everything is coming together. It's all going to make sense. This is all about the end times and bringing society to these end times, to the mark of the beast. This is how they program the masses subconsciously, getting them prepared for what's to come.
More now of our special coverage here tonight, life in the U.S. in 10 years' time. By that time, there may be all kinds of new ways to safeguard and identify all those things that make each of us unique, our faces, even our fingerprints, even our eyes. Here now with more on the future of technology, NBC's Tom Costello.
The year is 2017. You're rushed to a hospital unconscious with no ID or medical history, but thanks to a microchip under your skin, it's all there. Science fiction 20 years ago, but a biometric reality today.
This is more recent programming, 2015, talking about the microchip in Sweden. This is, of course, a worldwide operation that's going to be taking place. You're going to see the Masonic hand sign. You're going to see the Baphomet. This is nothing but a satanic deception. How people can't see through this, I have no idea. Take a look.
People who work here can be chipped to gain entry to the building and various services. I've just been chipped myself. It's not a painless process, but it doesn't last too long, not too difficult. Minor surgical procedure, which basically involves a little chip the size of, I suppose, of a grain of rice being inserted under your skin, and you can then go off and have it programmed and then do various things inside the building. Let's go and have a look. And here's Hannah Shawblood, who is in charge of this whole chipping operation in this building. Now, you've been chipped yourself. Where's your chip? Yeah, I have a chip right here, which I use to access the entire office. So let's see if we can get into this particular.
This is how I do it. Okay. No need for passcodes.
What do you see right away? All in plain sight like always. You see the goat's head, which of course represents the Masonic god of Baphomet.
We're in. So, what else can you use this for? Is it just for gaining?
And of course, the Masonic hand sign. Saw the goat's head, you see the Masonic hand sign. How obvious can it be? Taking a look, other players in the games. I showed this photo before, this collage. These different players in the game. This guy is no different. Just a fellow Freemason pushing the satanic agenda. Take a listen.
Just for gaining entry to doors, because that would seem a fairly simple thing.
Absolutely not. I mean, with this technology, I interact with all kinds of devices all around us. It can be normally my smartphone. I unlock my smartphone, my computer, I unlock my bike. All kinds of things that are now part of the greater connected Internet of Things.
But inside this building, you'll be able to do what else? What other thing will you be able to do?
Oh, I open the front door, I open various office rooms, I open the copy machine so that I can log into it.
So you can print just by putting your hand against the printer?
Exactly. So it's instead of having some clumsy device in my pocket, I just put my hand on the reader. If we help show people that this is really not that complicated, it's making our lives easier, I think people will actually welcome this tool.
That's what they do. They push it off as a good thing, of course. And how obvious can it be? So many people are sleeping. They'll see a program like this guy pushing the RFID chip, and they'll look at this as, oh, it's not the mark of the beast. This is a good thing. It's going to help society. This is part of the deception. People need to wake up and realize things are not always as it seems. Like I've stated many times in my past videos, you're going to find truth in movies and lies in the news. No exception with the 1987 movie called The Running Man, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. I find this very interesting. So much of what's happening in this world today, so many psyops and hoaxes taking place, it's running its course. And taking a look at the opening scroll from this movie, where it states by 2017 the world economy has collapsed, food and natural resources and oil in short supply, a police state has emerged, television is controlled by the state. They created a sadistic game called The Running Man, the most popular program in history. All art, music, communications are censored. No dissent is tolerated. Basically what's taking place now with all these events that's taking place in the world is bringing in the New World Order. I find this very fascinating. Now taking a look at this opening scene with Arnold Schwarzenegger, who plays the character of Ben Richards, who refuses to take orders and kill unarmed citizens. He's overtaken by his fellow crew members aboard the helicopter. He then is imprisoned, and after being imprisoned, he escapes captivity and is on the run, demonized by the media.
0, flight level 15, we are above release point, Echo Bravo 1.
Move in and check it out.
Roger, moving in. Food riot in progress. Approximately 1,500 civilians, no weapons evident.
Proceed with Plan L. Eliminate anything moving.
I said the crowd is unarmed. There are lots of women and children down there. All they want is food, for God's sake.
As you were, Richard. Proceed with Plan Alpha. All rioters must be eliminated.
The hell with you. I will not fire on helpless people. Abort missions. We return back to base.
Lieutenant Sanders, do you copy?
Affirmative.
Take command, detain Richards, and proceed as ordered.
Richard, what the fuck are you doing? Get him!
If they detain him, don't drop him.
Richards, you're gonna fry for this.
And I'll see you in hell.
Anyone who crosses out his own card after midnight will be permanently detained. Cadre kids, don't forget, October is bonus recruitment month. Earn a double bonus for reporting a family member.
Can't believe this shit. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't listen to it. I worry about the kids. The network shuts down the schools. The kids are either in hiding or getting basic training, brainwashed by the TV.
We can jam the network once we find the uplink to the satellite. Then we'll broadcast the truth.
Truth? Hasn't been very popular lately.
Can't find the code?
or the uplink. Don't know where the network hit something that big, but they managed. Stevie, would you mind? Goodbye, my lovely. You're one of the cops who locked up all my friends, burned my songs. People like you took this country and turned it into a jail.
We don't want his death on our hands.
He's a cop. He's the butcher of Bakersfield.
Come on, Mick. You can see through that crap. It's network propaganda.
We don't know that.
We know we wouldn't be here if he hadn't helped us.
We also know he's not one of us.
Perhaps now he's seen too much.
I've seen too much? All I've seen is a bunch of low foreheads who think they can change the world with dreams and talk. It's too late for that. If you're not ready to act, give me a break and shut up.
Nothing worth losing your head over, though, huh?
And the next two scenes I find very interesting. Just like what's happening again in the world today. How the media controls the minds. They can make the guilty innocent and the innocent guilty. And this scene right here, the use of crisis actors to blame Ben Richards for something he didn't do. Just like what's happening in the world today, I find it, like I said, truth in movies, lies in the news. We live in a world of opposites.
Champion, the greatest stalker to ever play the game. All right now, all you runners, ready, get set, go!
We interrupt Captain Freedom's workout to bring you this urgent news bulletin.
The city police are engaged in a door-to-door search for Benjamin A. Richards, known as the Butcher of Bakersfield. Richards, a former police officer, was the helicopter pilot who went berserk 18 months ago, firing without warning on a crowd of innocent civilians. If you see this man, do not approach him. Contact your local law.
Cadre Cola. It's the spot.
The capture of renegade police officer and mass murderer Ben Richards was filmed yesterday by runway security cameras. Richards' hostage, Amber Mendez, was unharmed. Some airport personnel were not so lucky. Like the ticket agent and security guard, Richards shot at point-blank range when he arrived at the airport.
But that's not true.
They were taken to Cadre Memorial Hospital.
And I find this scene very interesting where Killian speaks the truth, how TV controls society.
You look pissed, Ben. Believe me, you got every right to be. But hey, will you just let me explain? This is television, that's all it is. It's nothing to do with people, it's to do with the ratings. For 50 years, we've told them what to eat, what to drink, what to wear. For Christ's sake, Ben, don't you understand? Americans love television. They wean their kids on it. Listen, they love game shows, they love wrestling, they love sports and violence. So what do? We give them what they want. We're #1, Ben. That's all that counts. Believe me, I've been in the business 30 years. Hey, look. Look at that mother move, huh? Is he beautiful? Who is he?
Are you kidding? That's Ben Richards.
And as I usually do, I include previous videos the new one, so people can better connect the dots. I'm going to include a video featuring Richard Donner's conspiracy theory movie from 1997 starring Mel Gibson. I'm also going to show a video featuring Sylvester Stallone and Jackie Stallone and other Hollywood Freemasons, so people can connect the dots and see how those in Hollywood are connected Freemasons that are in the know, and this is all part of conditioning for getting the subconscious mind ready for what's going to take place in the future. Hollywood movies are nothing more than social programming disguised as entertainment. Taking a look at this one particular movie with its very interesting title, came out in 1997. It's called Conspiracy Theory, starring Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts. Mel Gibson plays the role of a conspiracy theorist that's a cab driver, and Julia Roberts plays the role of a U.S. government attorney. Here's a scene with Mel Gibson in the cab. During the movie, he talks to passengers and they just look at him like he's a complete nutcase. Again, this is all about social programming. Anybody that questions official stories by the government are frowned upon, they're demonized, they're looked at as crazy. Of course, understand the director behind this is Richard Donner, and also Joel Silver, the producer. Richard Donner is the producer of this movie as well. Understand Joel Silver, a very famous producer in Hollywood, behind many movies, and this one in particular, Die Hard from 1988. What do you see? The Twin Towers on fire. Of course, the one-eye symbolism. Understand, like I stated before, all those in Hollywood are Freemasons, and they're all in the know about what's taking place in this world. And actually, a lot of these movies, such as Die Hard, they come from a higher source. Basically, these producers and directors in Hollywood are just painters. They're artists for those above them that instruct them to make these movies. Large chain of command that goes all the way from the top. It trickles down all the way down to those in Hollywood and the music industry as well. Staying on topic with the movie industry, understand there's many crypto Jews in Hollywood and in the media. Richard Donner is no different, with his surname being Schwartzberg. Another crypto Jew in Hollywood. Interesting enough, in the opening scene from Conspiracy Theory, you'll see the Twin Towers. This is nothing new with these Hollywood movies. Hollywood is nothing more than witchcraft. Going back in time, understanding how that name Hollywood was derived. The ancient Druids, they used to make witches' wands from holly trees. And that's how you get the name Hollywood. It's nothing but witchcraft, nothing but deception. That's what Hollywood's all about. Now, taking a look here at Richard Donner's Superman from back in the late 70s. And what do you see? That clock pointing at 9/11. These people are in the know. Of course, Superman 2 with the Twin Towers in the city on fire. Now, taking a look at the 1984 movie Gremlins, which of course Richard Donner's behind. What do you see with this radio with the dial between the 9/11, of course Sapphire being the September stone. And what do you see here? The Roman numeral 11. This is September 11th in plain sight. Just taking a look at these birthstones. What do you see right here? The September, of course, again being the sapphire stone. So sapphire, blue sapphire. Interesting enough, like I said, the September birthstone, basically called the Stone of Destiny. I find that very interesting, with 9/11 being destined to happen. With these sick and twisted people that run this world, they love to mock. I can't say this enough. That's what they're all about. And also taking a look at Gremlins 2, which of course Richard Donner was behind. And you can see actor Eric Shawn, with this other female actress, holding up two microphones that read 9/11. And of course, Eric Shawn works for Fox News. He's one of the first, if not the first, at the scene at the towers on 9/11. So this is all planned out. Everything you see in the news is nothing more than a movie. Like Like I've stated many times, truth in movies, lies in the news. And taking a look at the very opening of Gremlins 2, just like conspiracy theory, just like Die Hard, you see the Twin Towers in plain sight. And a closer look at the two microphones from Gremlins 2, the 911, in plain sight. Now, getting back to the 1997 conspiracy theory movie, the opening scene where Mel Gibson is driving his cab talking to passengers, he mentions fluoride, the New World Order, George Bush being a 33rd degree Freemason, the RFID chip. It's unbelievable how much truth they're putting in this movie right in this opening scene. Take a look, and after this I'm also going to play a clip with Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts being interviewed talking about the movie.
July 8, 1979, all the fathers of Nobel Prize winners were rounded up by United Nations military units, all right? And actually forced at gunpoint to give semen samples in little plastic jars, which are now stored below Rockefeller Center underneath the ice skating rink. Wouldn't want to be there for the thaw. Ugh. I mean, it's disgusting. You know what they put in the water, don't you? Fluoride. Yeah, fluoride. On the pretext that it strengthens your teeth. That's ridiculous. You know what this stuff does to you? It actually weakens your will. Takes away the capacity for free and creative thought and makes you a slave to the state. So you ever wonder about all these militia groups, survivalist type kooks from the right-wing side? They say that they're defending the country from the UN troops. These guys are yelling so loud, my theory is, and this is a conspiracy, pal, that they are the UN troops and that they're in place. The infrastructure's ready, it's just a fait accompli. When the time comes, they'll just take over and we'll all be toast. Oswald, yeah, Oswald, that's what I said, Oswald. He said, I'm just a patsy, and that means that he didn't do it, right? Tell you the one about Arm & Hammer goes to the doctor, and the doctor said, hey, Armin, you've only got 3 minutes to live. And he says, oh my God, that's terrible news. Isn't there anything you can do for me, Doc? 3 minutes. And the doctor says, well, Armand, I can boil you an egg. I guess not. All right. Did you ever see those advertisements like, got milk? Hey, open up. Open it up. What's going on in there? Open it up. Son of a bitch. Eat beef? I mean, that's kind of like saying smoke cigarettes or drive cars. I mean, it's real generic. It's like this guy looks at me and he says to me, you think you're living in a free country? You think this is a democracy? Of course it's not. Websites, newsletters, self-published manifestos, they think we're kooks. I mean, George Bush knew what he was saying when he said New World Order. Remember those three little words, New World Order? Well, he was a 33rd degree Mason, you know, and as ex-director of the CIA. He knew that saying that would send conspiratologists everywhere spinning their wheels, and then they destroy their own credibility. Hey, don't get me wrong, sister. I'm sure your heart's in the right place, okay? But, you know, somebody's got to lift the scab, the festering scab that is the Vatican. The chip for identification so they can track down an animal anywhere he's at, you'll insert it under the dog's skin, and it's kind of like an identification thing. I mean, it's only a small, logical step, so they start putting it in us and our children. And then, before we know it, my God, they'll probably come with the pretext. Oh, sure, yeah. Hey, is that one of those new hundreds? You know, where they changed the picture of Ben Franklin? Look at him. Yeah. He looks like the love child of Fred Mertz and Rosie O'Donnell. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, get rid of him as soon as you can, lady. Look at it up to the light. You see the metal strip in it? That's a tracking device. If you got any more of those at home, get rid of them. Exchange them for goods or something. Because they'll follow you. They know where every one of those hundreds is going. Hey, you ever Black helicopters. I mean, you heard about them. The black helicopters, they're everywhere. Yeah, they're on whisper mode. So you can't hear them till they've already gone. You know? No, there's nobody there. Where are they?
The new movie thriller Conspiracy Theory, Mel Gibson's character fears that conspiracy lurks everywhere. Gibson should know, in real life, it took a conspiracy to convince Julia Roberts to be his co-star. I recently talked with both of them about working together on this project where sparks were definitely flying.
Here, guys. Don't breathe, don't breathe.
Was this the first time you worked together, the two of you?
Mm-hmm.
What was it like?
Fabulous.
Caper.
Yep.
Just nod and smile.
Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts are together for the first time on film in Conspiracy Theory. They are an unlikely pair. Gibson plays a New York cabbie, obsessed with bizarre conspiracy theories. He is unbalanced, bordering on psychotic. Roberts is a government lawyer who should be afraid of Gibson's eccentric character, but instead finds him strangely sympathetic.
It's an interesting relationship between your characters in the movie.
Yes, very complex.
Very complex. Shows up at her office how many times? And
oh, I don't know, 8, 12.
8, 12.
Yeah, it's kind of stalking, really, isn't it?
It's a gentle version of stalking.
Yeah, it's almost kind of weird.
Just like George Carlin just stated, it's a big club and we're not in it. From people in Hollywood, from Steven Spielberg, to George Lucas, to Richard Donner, to Robert Zemeckis, to the politicians, to the judges, the police, to the music industry, professional sports. They're all working together, playing us all for fools. And like I stated many times, these Masons speak in code, not through words, but through symbolism, hand signs, colors, dates, and numbers. Going back in time, watching some old footage back from 1991 with Sylvester Stallone at this Achievement Awards for Kirk Douglas. He's standing in a room full of people and he's flashing all these Masonic hand signs, from the All-Seeing Eye to the 666 and the devil horns.
Hey Michael, wherever you are, don't mess with your father. Hey, Michael, wherever you are, don't mess with your father.
And they don't call him Sly for no reason. That's like an inside joke with the fellow Masons, with Sly meaning having a deceitful nature, clever in a dishonest way, and showing that you know a secret. And to those, I think it's crazy to suggest that Sylvester Stallone would have a part in Satanism. Just take a look at his mother, Jacqueline Stallone. She's a well-known astrologer and is a psychic. And the Bible's clear when it states, do not turn to mediums or psychics. And taking a look at some of these predictions from her website that came true, from the O.J. Simpson case to the Tony Blair elections to Bush back in 2000 winning the elections by 200 votes, to knowing the color and the make of the car of the victims from the Washington D.C. snipers. I mean, how does she know this? This is all about deception. She's an insider. You know, she's one of them as well, of course. And she has inside information. These were all psyops. The elections are all fixed. They're all rigged. And her being in the inside, she's going to be privy to this information. So again, they're all playing us for fools. They're all connected. All these so-called elite and their bloodline and their families and their friends. They're all playing the masses for fools. And this is the way they do it. Showing their allegiance, working together. These Satanists in Hollywood, they wouldn't be where they are unless they're a part of that club. A lot of people understand the ruling elite that own and control this world. They're in the bloodline. All related, even the so-called puppets, such as Madonna and Celine Dion, Tom Hanks, Brad Pitt. Not just puppets, but they're in the actual bloodline. And understand there's a lot of disinfo agents, such as David Icke, stating how these people, they're all reptilians, and their bloodline comes from another world, another planet, Draconia. And this is what disinfo agents do. They mix truth with lies. The bloodline, actually, they are extraterrestrials, you can say. They're not of this world. They are the bloodline of the fallen ones, of Lucifer and his angels, as it states in the Bible, how they were thrown from heaven and how they mingled with female humans. And a lot of people make videos on this subject when it comes to the bloodline. Well, I'm just not going to make a video stating things. I'm actually going to connect dots. I'm not just pulling things out of thin air, so people can see with evidence and proof what's really taking place. I'm going to play a video clip where the narrator speaks a lot of truth, but again, mixing in lies. When he talks about how the Bible talks about how giants were thrown to earth and they were called the Nephilim, that's absolutely not true at all. Nephilim comes from the root word nephal, which means to fall. These were fallen angels that mingled with female humans, and their offspring became giants. So again, there's a difference between Nephilim and giants. Giants are simply the offspring of the Nephilim mixed with female humans. That's what Goliath was. He was a giant. It's mentioned in Numbers in the Bible how scouts went into a land, and that's where they saw the giants, and they were like grasshoppers compared to them. And they talked about how they ate humans, how they were cannibals. And I made videos in the past talking about the Baalbek temples and those huge 100-ton stones that were moved from a quarry to build the Temple of Baalbek.
In Lebanon, 44 miles from Beirut, are the imposing ruins of Baalbek. There is mention of this place in the Old Testament's Book of Kings.
Baalbek in particular is a very good example. That has the trilithon. Those are the largest stones in the world ever used for construction. They're so large we don't even know their actual weight. Those stones were somehow quarried, moved 5 miles, lifted 25, 30 feet in the air, and placed together so closely that you can't fit a razor blade or a piece of paper in between them. We have no idea how they did it. We don't have a crane in the world that can lift weights anywhere near what those things are.
No one knows for sure, but according to Arab tradition, the earliest temples were built here after the Great Flood by a tribe of giants for the biblical king Nimrod.
And also, of course, the pyramids and Stonehenge. It's been said these are unsolved mysteries when in actuality these were created by the giants. This is part of hidden history. And people might wonder what happened to these giants. Well, that's when the floods came and they wiped them out. Even though you killed the flesh, the spirit still lives. And there were giants after those days as well. But they did not survive. There was not a large amount of these giants. Basically a tribe of giants. And these tribes were of the satanic bloodline. Like I said, from the fallen angels. I'm going to play this video clip. And again, understand with this clip, there's a lot of truth in it. But again, the portion where he mentions how Nephilim were giants falling from heaven, it's not true actually, like I said. And this is what disinfo agents do. They'll speak a ton of truth, but they'll mix in a little lies. Just enough lies to lead people off course. Still a very good presentation, but good discernment is needed. Just like David Icke, calling the satanic bloodline, the fallen angels, reptilians from another world.
Reptilian gods from the heavens creating man is not at all uncommon. It in fact can be found in most every region of our planet. In Japan, emperors claim descent from dragon gods who came from the sky. Australian Aborigines teach of a reptilian race which lives underneath the earth and governs over men. They believe they are descendants of a race of dragon humans. China teaches the serpent queen Nukua interbred with man. India calls these reptilian gods Nagas and claim they seeded their royal families. Throughout the Middle East it is believed a serpent race created man. The book of Genesis tells of giants who came from the heavens to breed with the daughters of man. They are called the Nephilim. In Africa they call them Chitauri, children of the serpent. The royal kings of Africa claim descent from serpent gods who came from the sky. In South America, the Mayans teach that their ancestors were the people of the serpent. The Aztecs were said to be created by a serpent woman. In America, the Hopi Indians believe sky gods came to earth to breed with their women and refer to them as their snake brothers. The word Sioux means snakes, and Iroquois means serpents. It seems the only places you will not find this historical story is where the history has been methodically destroyed. The descendants of King Anu in Sumeria and Babylon can be traced throughout time. The pharaohs of Egypt were from the bloodlines of the Babylonian kings. The rulers of the Roman Empire can be traced to Egyptian hierarchy. All throughout Europe, the royal families can be traced back to the great Roman emperors. 34 of the presidents of the United States are directly descended from European royalty, with the remaining 8 who are only closely related to these same bloodlines. In 1934, President Franklin Roosevelt placed the Great Seal, originally created in 1782 by the Freemasons, on the dollar bill. Represented in the Great Seal is a pyramid and the all-seeing eye, known to be used by the elusive society of the Illuminati. Strung together in conspiratorial confusion are secret societies such as the Illuminati, the Freemasons, and the Bohemian Club. In 1917, National Geographic did a story on a place in Montreal, California called Bohemian Grove. The story reports a place where the world's elite, members of the Bohemian Club, retreat to in late July and conduct an ancient occult ceremony called the Cremation of Care. Every year in July, the world's leaders, media moguls, and members of the World Bank spend 2 weeks of what is known as a men-only retreat at the Grove. In the year 2000, BBC television show World of Wonder infiltrated Bohemian Grove with hidden cameras and aired the video on the BBC. The video shows the large mass of men donning red and black robes and once again conducting the Cremation of Care ceremony. The altar is at the base of a 200-foot owl, the Babylonian symbol of the god Moloch, the god of human sacrifice. In the video, a body is delivered upriver to the altar where it is set on fire. Upon being aired, members of the Bohemian Club reported that the ceremony is a put-on, merely done for entertainment and fun. This history tells a story of our world leaders having a deep involvement in satanic tradition, worshipping our reptilian overlords, serpent gods. It poses the possibility that we may be and have always been enslaved by our leaders, no different than sheep or cattle.
And like I stated earlier in the video, I just don't pull things out of thin air to make connections. I'm going to touch upon Vlad the Impaler, also known as Dracula, and understand how Dracula, with the origin of that meaning for that name in Romanian means. It means son of Dracul. Therefore, young Vlad was son of the dragon or son of the devil. And you're going to see the connection with this video clip with Prince Charles talking about how he's related to Vlad the Impaler. So you're going to see how the so-called elite that run this world from behind the scenes, they're all in the bloodline of Lucifer and the fallen angels.
I am Dracula.
Prince Charles and Dracula, two names that don't seem to go together. However, the Romanian Tourism Board is playing up a connection between Prince Charles and Count Dracula. Romanian officials have released a brochure at a World Travel Market, a travel industry event in London, including a fact that 63-year-old Prince Charles has a distant link to Vlad the Impaler, a nobleman from the 15th century who helped to inspire the vampire legend Dracula. Last year, the prince stated in an interview, "Transylvania is in my blood. The genealogy shows I am descendant of Vlad the Impaler, so I do have a bit of a stake in the country."
And His Royal Highness Prince Charles, who can trace his ancestry back to Romania's dark and distant past.
The genealogy shows that I'm descended from Vlad the Impaler, you see. So I do have a bit of a stake in the country.
Prince Charles actually owns a house in Transylvania, and he appears in a video used by Romanian authorities to promote the country. The Prince of Wales is certainly not ashamed of his heritage and Romanian roots. He states, "Transylvania has so much to teach us. It's the last corner of Europe where we see true sustainability. We must learn from that before it's too late." What do you think about a possible connection between Prince Charles and Dracula?
Now, taking a look at this side-by-side of Prince Charles and Dracula, the resemblance is amazing. Look at that nose. Basically identical. The facial features, one and the same. I can completely see how they are related, no doubt. Now understand, of course, Dracula is well known for drinking blood, and this is all about Satanism, of course, doing everything in opposition of the Bible, where the Bible states in Deuteronomy, "Only be sure that you eat not the blood, for the blood is the life, and you may not eat the life with the flesh." Like I've stated many times in my past videos, Hollywood, of course, is owned and controlled by the Satanists. And with this movie scene from Pulp Fiction, with John Travolta and Uma Thurman in the restaurant, John Travolta orders a steak, and Uma Thurman orders a hamburger. And of course, they both order it bloody. These are little subtle hints that goes over people's heads that watch these movies. This is why the so-called elite are called the enlightened ones. And it's very sad. It reminds me of the quote from George Lucas, who stated right before the filming of Phantom Menace, "Why does the public watch movies? Why is the public so stupid?" And this is what he's referring to. People watch movies and don't get a lot of these hidden messages. Take a look, and also after this scene, I'm going to play a clip that shows the 666 with the briefcase, showing the satanic connection with Pulp Fiction. Not just Pulp Fiction, with all of Hollywood, owned and controlled by the Satanists.
Hi, I'm Buddy. What can I get you? Let's see, steak. Oh, yeah, there's Douglas Sirk steak. Have that.
How do you want that cooked? Burnt to a crisp or bloody as hell?
Bloody as hell, and oh yeah, look at this, vanilla Coke.
What about you, Peggy Sue?
I'll have the Durward Kirby burger. Bloody.
And of course, the director of Pulp Fiction was Quentin Tarantino. Just look at the Masonic, satanic hand signs, just like Baphomet. Taking a look at this image, full of blood, and what do you see? The X on his forehead. And that's the mark of Satan himself. Just like on well-known Satanist Kevin Sullivan, here with the fallen angel Nancy Sullivan. How obvious can it be? To make it in this world, you must be a Satanist. Giving back to Kevin Sullivan, he was the head booker of WCW Wrestling, which of course was owned and controlled by Ted Turner. Out of all the people that he had controlling WCW Wrestling from behind the scenes, making the matches, booking the storylines, it was a Satanist. Now to get back on topic with the bloodline, specifically with Barack Obama, before I show that clip with him on BET talking about how he's related to Dick Cheney, listen to what Lynn Cheney, Dick Cheney's wife, says about Barack Obama. This is all about mockery. And you'll see her do the 666 hand sign when she talks about the bloodline. Take a look. It's right in your face. This is what Satanism is all about. Mockery and lying. Because, of course, like the Bible states, Satan is the father of all lies. There's no truth in him. And that's why when I always say all these news stories, you see these 24/7 covered news stories are nothing but lies, nothing but hoaxes, nothing but psyops. You need to understand this is the way the bloodline operate. There's no truth in them, nothing but lies. And the only truth you'll get is hidden message as form of mockery. Take a look and listen.
But I have to admit to a certain bias here. To get back to my book for a minute, in my book there's a lot of genealogical research, you know, going back, Dick's family, my family, these heroic and amazing tales of people who went west. But one of the things I discovered is that Dick and Barack Obama are 8th cousins. What? Is that an amazing thing? Yes, if you go back 8 generations, They have a common ancestor.
So you're for Barack Obama?
No, but I thought I should admit this fact as evidence that maybe I'm not completely objective about Mrs. Clinton. But think about this. This is such an amazing American story that one ancestor, that one ancestor.
Either of those first 2 books, though, who knew? You and Dick Cheney cousins?
No, you know, these folks have been doing all these genealogies on me, and you know, they've found all sorts of strange connections.
This has got to be the strangest, though.
Well, listen, if you go back far enough, you know, you got all kinds of crooks and thieves in your family. I'm not necessarily drawing that analogy. I'm just saying. You don't know who's back there.
What did you make of that story? For those who don't know this, so Lynn Cheney, the vice president's wife, has been doing some genealogy connected to her latest book, and lo and behold, way back, 8 generations ago?
8 generations or
you
something.
and Mr. Cheney apparently have some distant relative. What did you make of that story when it came out?
You know, I actually knew about it because
the name of my cousin, Dick Cheney, will not be on the ballot.
Now more on the satanic bloodline. Let's focus on Brad Pitt, Tom Hanks, Madonna, and not shown on this chart, but it's also mentioned Lady Gaga's in the bloodline as well. Now getting back to Brad Pitt, take a look at this quote from the Huffington Post during the filming of Moneyball. I can really try on something different for myself. That was Satanism. It really worked out well. I made a pact. That's why. And interesting enough, talking about the bloodline that goes all the way back to Dracula, look at this photo of Angelina Jolie, of course, married to Brad Pitt. What do you see? Her tasting the blood. This is how the Satanists do it. They love to mock right in plain sight. People see this and they cannot connect the dots. They don't understand the occult. They don't understand what's taking place in this world full of deception, lies, and mockery. And taking a look at this puppet in the game, Keisha, she's simulating drinking blood with this heart on stage. Completely sick and satanic. Disgusting. And taking a look at this interview from E! Online with Billy Bob Thornton, of course, the ex-husband of Angelina Jolie. And he mentions how Angelina Jolie wore a vial of blood around her neck. These are the Satanists in the game. We go down to the quote. He talks about, and we were vampires and we lived in a dungeon. Vampires, and of course the bloodline going back again to Vlad the Impaler, or Dracula as he was known as well. And to conclude this presentation, I'm going to play several clips from Tom Hanks' 1989 movie called The Burbs. In the very last scene where Tom Hanks' friend points at the satanic book, then points at Tom Hanks' head, stating, once they get in your head, pal, it's all over. And to me, this is a reference to the school textbooks which teach the theory of evolution, and that's why they say get them while they're young. Once you've been programmed, it's very hard to unprogram the mind. And that's exactly why they created this public school system, to indoctrinate the masses into the satanic system of evolution of no God.
Satanists, huh? Ritual killers. Nice.
Very, very nice.
I'm telling you, these people are Satanists. As I sit here, they are Satanists. Look, the world is full of these kind of things. Look at this. Black masses, mutilations. Rape. Unconscious chanting. You're chanting. I want to kill everyone. Satan is good. Satan is our pal. Hey, once they get in here, it's over, pal.
So much occult hidden in plain sight in society. Understand, before products can be introduced nationwide and worldwide, those behind the scenes, they must make their approval. No exception with the Kool-Aid Man. You'll see the as above, so below, the red and blue. And listen to the commentators during the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and you'll hear them talk about all the specs of the Kool-Aid Man. One thing I find interesting, they call the eyes and nose 3 6s. How obvious can it be? And of course what they're saying is scripted. Take a look at this short clip. This is Satanism in plain sight.
Appearing in his 6th Thanksgiving Day Parade, which is very cool.
And he's actually got some pretty cool numbers to contemplate as well. He has 4 fingers, 3 ice cubes, and check it out, 6s for eyes and a nose.
Here's another cool fact. Approximately 400,000 cubic feet of helium needed to fill all.
Now taking a closer look at the Masonic goat god named Baphomet, it's a perversion of God's creation. Of course, God created male, female, and animals all separate. What Satan does, and his minions, they like to pervert God's creation, mixing a male, a female, an animal with his goat's head, his wings, which represents, of course, an angel. This is a fallen angel. And you can see hidden within the crossed legs, you can see a sheep's head. All this symbolism, of course, as above, so below. The Masonic moon, black and white dualism. You have the, Lucifer as the light bearer, so you have the light on top. The horns of the goat, of course. The pentagram behind. So understanding this is the Masonic goat god, and the Satanists that run this world and their minions, they're going to have his symbolism hidden in plain sight. Let's take a look. First, starting off with McDonald's. What do you see here? Ronald McDonald, as above, so below, with these images. This is, of course, marketed towards the kids. Now, the teenagers to adults, you have Mao Ying of China, the famous former basketball player. And what do you see? Devil hand sign, the devil horns behind him. This is a Chinese advertisement, the 11, which represents the Twin Towers, bringing in the Antichrist. That's what the number 11 is all about. Going to the very top, you understand how the chain of command works. Your top executives with McDonald's, they were never made it to the top of this world. They were never went worldwide unless those before them allowed it to happen. Got to be part of that club to be able to distribute their franchise worldwide. That's exactly what took place with McDonald's. And of course, the M is the 13th letter of the alphabet as well. A lot of symbolism here. Of course, McDonald's here, Ronald, that orangish hair, devil horns, devil horns. Talk about the orange later. Again, talking about Baphomet being the goat god. What do you see here with the Beach Boys? You wonder why they have these goats in this album cover. It's all about Satanism. Taking a look here with Dodge, and of course you see the Dodge Ram. Of course, all Satanism in plain sight with the red and the black. Understand also the Beatles. I'm not saying all these puppets are particularly Satanist per se, but they're definitely sellouts. They know what they're getting involved with, so they're not innocent by any imagination. Willing participants for money. Basically, like I said, sellouts. Understand the Ram. Again, I'm going to touch upon this. later on with Apple Computer as well, and computers in general. Taking a look here at this Beatles album, the Beatles Yesterdays and Today. See the sick, twisted, all these baby body parts mutilated. This was a limited release. There's no way this went on the shelves by accident. They received the A-OK to release this. Then all of a sudden, oh, we better yank this off the shelves. They wanted this out there. This is, just one of many images. I'll show some more here. People willing to do this. How much were they paid? Completely disgusting, completely twisted, sick. More of the same images here. Now again, getting back to the RAM and this symbolism, let's look at Apple Computer with the very first Apple Computer being priced at $666.66 with Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. And again, they have to be on the same page for this Apple Computer to be released not only in the US but worldwide. Secret meetings will never know, of course, with the controlled media, will never expose them as being the Satanists that they are. Now, taking a look at this image of Julia Roberts, and you can see the pyramid, the serpent, just another sellout, another celebrity with the 666 on the shirt. Collage of many puppets in the game. Lady Gaga. Not quite sure. This is maybe just a model for this shirt. Not quite sure. Whatever the case, pushing the satanic agenda. Britney Spears talking about being on the same page. Page 666. Another sellout in the game. She would have never made it unless she sold her soul. That's simple. Another image. You get the three eyes. 666. By the way, talking about the double 666 hand sign, this also could be referred to as two sets of threes, with 33 being the highest degree in Freemasonry. So you have dualism, 666 and the 33 all in one. Looking at Michael Jackson, another puppet in the game. The 666 hand sign. Touch upon this more with him a little bit later. Biggie Smalls, his 666 clothing line. This woman here with the 666 hand sign and the wink of an eye. This refers to the Bible about those that have a mischievousness with the wink. These people are told to do this. They're of course not doing this on their own. This is basically mocking the Bible. And this person might not know it at all. They're just instructed to do this by their handlers, by their agents. Now looking at Jackie Chan doing the double 666 hand sign with the 2 3s, with the 33, of course. Christ crucified at the age of 33. They love to mock, like I've mentioned so many times. Take a look at some more images here. Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel. How obvious can it be? Now again, talking about Michael Jackson. Again, this is him, of course, at a very early age. Now one thing to take a notice of is look at his hand. This hand is not Michael Jackson's hand. It's much larger. It has a ring. Lighter color. This is some sick and twisted, perverted person, an adult, doing the 666 hand sign right in front of him. Completely sick. Talking about sick, look at this child. They have no shame whatsoever with this Pampers commercial. The devil horns and the 666 hand sign. Completely disgusting. Of course, Disney. This is about indoctrinating the youth. Walt Disney, you see the 666 over the world. Of course, the 3 6s in the Disney logo itself. Now, taking a look at who I believe is the Antichrist, only time will tell. I take a look at Barack Obama, of course. The devil hand sign. If you look closely enough, you'll see another one. The hidden hand. And a closer look here. Obviously, devil horns right in front of you. They love to mock in plain sight. thousands of people at this convention. I'm sure they got a big screen somewhere in there. People have no clue what has taken place. Deceived souls, all of them. Everybody in this auditorium, deceived completely. The puppet in the game, Sarah Palin. What do you see? Of course, the same hand sign and the same hidden hand, the devil horns. Understand, of course, she's a Republican. This is a Democrat. But those are just titles. They are all Satanists. Behind the scenes, playing the masses for fools. All closet liberals, anti-God, 100%. Just like George Bush, another supposed Republican with the devil horns. How obvious can it be? Don't tell me it's because he's from Texas. Is she from Texas? Is Obama from Texas? These devil horns? Give me a break. Stop making excuses. Trying to rationalize reasons you believe what you believe. And unfortunately, you have been deceived into the satanic system, thinking everything is just a coincidence. 666 here with E! News. No reason for that, but of course, those behind the scenes, you're not going to make it on TV. These two stooges, they don't, all they care about is money they get, lining their pockets, their purses. That's what it's all about, selling your soul to make it on TV. Talking about sellouts, take a look at Katy Perry. Of course, she mentions in interviews how her parents were Christians and how she sold her soul to the devil. No kidding. There's symbolism here. This has become normal. Taking a look at Hollywood and The Simpsons, which is targeted, of course, to young adults, to adults. You have Homer Simpson here burning a Bible. How obvious can it be with Matt Groening, of course, as I mentioned before, nothing more than a satanic Freemason. Like them all, it's a big club. Taking a look at NATO, talking about how Satanists do everything in opposites. That's why all the news, for the most part, is fake and fabricated. There's no truth in Satan. He's the father of all lies. So, and as I've mentioned before, of course, doing things in opposite, they have Otan. And of course, they're going to give us false meanings for everything. This is what Satanists do. You're going to say it's some Portuguese, meaning Otan for NATO. Always the false meanings. I'm going to show an example of that right now, actually. Take a listen to Ronnie James Dio. He's basically the one that started doing the devil horns when it came to rock and roll. Like I stated, they always give us false meanings for everything. Of course, called the devil horns. But he's basically saying it doesn't have an evil meaning behind it. Take a listen.
One of the things Ronnie is known for is inventing the devil horns, the most enduring symbol of heavy metal culture.
I'm of Italian extraction, and my grandmother, my grandfather, on both sides of both my mother's and father's side, came to America from Italy, and they had superstitions. And I would always see my grandmother when I was a little kid, with her holding my hand and walking down the street. She would see someone and go, "What's that?" And eventually learned that it was called the Maloik. And the Maloik was, someone was giving us the evil eye, so she's giving it protection against the evil eye. Or you can give someone the evil eye too. So invent it, no, but perfect it and make it important, yes, because I did it so much, especially within the confines of that great band, Sabbath, which had this incredible name already, and you put that together with what people think it is. But for me, because I'm lucky enough to have kind of just have done it so much, it's been more equated with me than anyone else.
Again, always with the false meanings, and this is based upon Freemasonry, deceiving through religion, through many means of deceiving the masses. Now, taking a look, again, working off opposites, the satanic way. Taking a look at Oprah Winfrey's, Harpo Studios. Of course, Oprah spelled backwards is Harpo. Again, Satanists at work. People might call these individuals artists. How can they be artists if they're doing the same thing? These are not individuals. They are called puppets. Con artist is more like it. Even people that love Elvis. There's another sellout. Sold his soul to Satan. No doubt about it. Take a look at that. Again, the 666 hand sign. taking a look at the one eye symbolism, and it has dual meaning. Of course, with the one eye reference to Ra or Lucifer, also it's a reference to the Antichrist, where it states in the Bible, after he's mortally wounded, he will survive and he'll be blinded in one eye. This basically symbolizes the bringing in of the Antichrist. Taking a look at some more images here. Of course, with Ozzy Osbourne and Ozfest, see the satanic goat, the hybrid, devil horns, of course, the hoof. What do you see here? Hidden in plain sight. This is also the all-seeing eye of Lucifer. Again, always in plain sight. This is how they like to do it. There's an old saying how the devil has infiltrated the churches, and this is literal. Taking a look at this image, this is from a friend of mine who attends a local church. And what do you see? During the playing of a band, you see the lead singer throwing up the devil horns. What is taking place here is unbelievable. People in the congregation of this church, oh, doesn't mean anything. It means I love you. The person that took this picture tried to explain to her, but she wasn't having it. Sad. People that go to churches, they don't realize that Satan controls every aspect of our lives, and that unfortunately includes the churches. Taking a look at this image I showed many, many times. Of course, the highest degree in Freemasonry is 33 in the Scottish Rite. Taking a look here and understand, I mentioned this before, understand the whole UFO deception. And I believe this is going to be towards the end times, which I believe is very near. It all started back in 1947 with the supposed UFO crash in Roswell, New Mexico. Understand, Roswell is on the 33rd parallel. Just like CNN in Atlanta, Georgia. Just like they had the Heaven's Gate cult in Rancho Santa Fe in California. Phoenix, Arizona with the Phoenix Lights. This is the bloodline. This is all about mockery, of course. And also, to mention the bloodline, they were thrown down on Mount Hermon as well. So 33, this is the reason behind it. Of course, the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. As a form of mockery, they'll have many events take place on the 33rd parallel as far as ritual. Again, with the supposed UFO crash in 1947, it's nothing but a hoax, a deception, all part of bringing on the New World Order. Just like when there's conflict within a country, such as a civil war, anytime an outside invader comes in, they will unite to fight off that invader. And this is how they do it. This is all part of bringing the New World Order, like I said. Take a look at some more images here and understanding more of the deception that has taken place as far as NASA is concerned. Understand, like I mentioned earlier and many times before, 33, Freemasonry being the highest degree in the Scottish Rite. And the reason for the orange spacesuits, the only color in numerology that equals 33 is orange. Same thing with the Golden Gate Bridge. People ask all the time, why is it international orange? They call it the Golden Gate Bridge for the same exact reason. Another thing is, the Golden Gate Bridge construction started in 1933. You have 33 twice here. The color of the bridge and the year it was built. For all those that have so much trust in the media, anytime they hear a news story on Fox News or CNN, understand I should mention first off, CNN is located on the 33rd parallel. In Fox News, people don't ask questions and wonder why. It's called Fox News. And again, looking at the numerology chart, it just so happens Fox spells out 666. When you watch Fox News, it's basically the devil's deception with 666. Understand, all the Satanists in this world, they own every aspect of our society, like I said so many times. So all the information they feed you that you deem as credible comes from these liars. Just like 20th Century Fox, everything, there's a reason behind it. People in society don't think about this stuff. You just hear 20th Century Fox, oh, just a place that makes movies in Hollywood, just a company that makes movies. You have no idea there's a reason for everything. And there you go, the 666. You know, like the movie They Live. Just like with all the billboards they show in that movie, They Live is reality. Just take a look here at this vitamin water drink and you see the triple X's for 666. We live in this satanic controlled matrix which so few can see through. And they just think this is all just a coincidence. They've been blinded from birth. If they don't wake up, they're going to be blinded to death. I hate to say that, but that's the truth. This is going back in time, showing this is nothing new. With this root beer company, you got the triple X. Same exact thing. Just like the Bible says, there's nothing new under the sun. We're talking about religion and deception. Of course, as I mentioned many times, I believe in God. All these religions, this mixing of truth and lies, taking part of pagan worship and doing the exact opposite what the Bible says. Take a look at here at these people bowing and praying to Mary, where the Bible states, "You shall not pray to any idols, worship any idols." These people completely deceived. They have no clue. In the Catholic Church, they have padres. What is a padre? Of course, a padre is a father. You call to your padre in the Catholic Church. Again, the Bible states, do not call anybody on earth your father, because your Father is in heaven. That's why they call the Pope the Holy Father. It's more mockery. People might ask, what should I call my so-called Father on earth? You don't call him that. You call him your dad, your papa, anything but your Father. Taking a look, see right behind here, the statue of Mary. And I believe this is not by chance, not a coincidence, with this light post. What does it look like here? Looks like 3 prongs, that of a pitchfork. Might be taken it a bit far. People that understand the Vatican, they're nothing but a club of pedophiles, a bunch of Satanists. And this is more mockery again. Something subtle, but the discerning eye can see through. This is how they love to mock, like I mentioned so many times. All about mockery. So I tell people that don't believe in God, don't believe in the Bible, and they shall turn their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. That's exactly what happens when you try to explain to people that are dead asleep. They don't want to hear the truth. They just want to believe what they believe in the news. They want to watch sports on the weekend, drink their beer, post selfies on Facebook. They want to have this life of excitement, jumping out of airplanes, bungee jumping, basically self-worship. And that's what, knowing or unknowingly, these people are taking part of. Self-worship in Satanism. The number 1 day of the year is your birthday. That's why they have these songs about your birthday. I think it's by Jay-Z. People don't realize there's a reason for everything in society. It's not random. And the Bible states Satan deceives the whole world. This is literal. It's exactly what's taking place. Satan and his minions and the deceived masses below are completely clueless to the world deception and the coming in of the Antichrist.